And so glad he could join in with us here today. It's the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the home Eastside Diamond Hoppers once again. Jeremy Otto alongside Brendan Shabath to bring you the call. So glad he could tune in on this Saturday night. It's one of the few Saturdays without a doubleheader. We'll have quite a few Saturdays kind of in the middle of the season where we will play too. So that's exciting, and we're certainly excited about the matchup we have here tonight. There's a lot to unpack. First, we want to get to kind of these two teams matching up on Memorial Day. The Hoppers playing yesterday to kick off the week. The Beavers not playing since Monday, but because it was Monday, it doesn't feel like that long ago, I guess.
Yeah, right. They played on Memorial Day, had a very fun holiday baseball game. It was a pitcher's duel. Yep. Beavers took that one 4-0 over the Diamond Hoppers, and Eric Sandnes, who we're unfortunately not going to get to see today for the Beavers, but in his second appearance and first start of the season looked fantastic. 5 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs. A shutout game for the Beavers pitching staff, and an all-around really good day on Memorial Day.
And when you look at these two teams, there's a few changes that have happened over the last couple days, and there's certainly some hitters that have gotten hot. We'll get to that in a moment when we go over our starting lineups. But in terms of the pitchers, Carson Ferry will go for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, and Austin Shea will go for the Beavers. They're really enthused with how Ferry has started.
Yeah, Carson Ferry, like we've talked about yesterday, a guy who is on the short list of guys who are going to be out of here soon and onto major league organizations. He's pitched really well, high velocity, doesn't throw a fastball below 90, but he's usually a relief guy, and now he's switched into the starter role without Pierce Banks moving on to the Minnesota Twins, and that's going to be interesting for him. The good thing is we talked to Ryan Cockey and said Carson's been honest that he gets to that 4th inning, gets into his 5th, starts to get a little bit tired. And that's exactly what you need out of your starting pitcher and all of your players. You need them to be honest with how they're feeling, the condition that they think they're in, how long they think they can go. It's expected for Carson again tonight to get 4, maybe 5 as long as it's low stress. And then we're going to hopefully see a new guy for the Diamond Hoppers.
Austin Shea, on the other hand, a guy that they still really like, still trying to put it all together. Had a good first outing, a little bit rougher last time in terms of command and location, but they're still looking forward to what he can do here today.
Yeah, Austin Shea, same thing as Carson Ferry. He's on the short list too. Mitch Akers is very high on Austin Shea. He's another guy who's on the taller side of the spectrum for a lot of the pitchers in this league, so he gets downhill, has a lot of really good arm action. We'll see if he can get that velocity up today. He's been mid to high 80s with the fastball, trying to push it up to that 90, 91, maybe touch 92 on a pitch. See if he can do that today. It's warm, it's comfortable, another beautiful day for baseball. A good day to do it if you're Austin Shea.
And a good day for paperweights as well. We'll work on that a little bit harder next time. But let's check your starting lineups. The rest of them for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers are the road team here today. Leading off is the right fielder Tyler Fraley. Cameron Collette bats second and plays short. Marcus Page bats third and is the second baseman here today. Ryan Sullivan, a guy they're still looking to bring that power into regular season games. Showed it in the preseason. Will hit cleanup and play first. Eric Whitfield catching today. He's been more of an outfielder so far. Get on that a little bit more later in the broadcast. Nathan Mercedes batting 6th and playing third base. Eric Ramirez, a guy who we know as a Utica Unicorn just for a day or so, is now a Birmingham Bloomfield Beaver and will stay that way. He'll DH here today, so looking to find his number overall. Travis Ford will bat 8th and play center field. He had a bomb the other day on Memorial Day, so he earns another start. Sawan Lawrence will round things out and play left field today as well. As for the home Eastside Diamond Hoppers, it's Alex Pup will lead things off and play shortstop. Blake Porter bats second and plays center. Joe Burke and Nick Kreitzer hitting back-to-back in the lineup. They hit a combined 4 home runs yesterday. A long time coming for those two. Look for some more of that here today with the warm weather. Sean Lawler bats 5th and plays right field. Chris De Los Santos back in the starting lineup after a couple games off. He'll bat 6th and play 3rd. Andrew Bayard bats 7th and plays left. Michael Luker slotted in as the catcher today. He'll bat 8th, and Walker Paz will round things off and play second base. So a couple things to get to, both we kind of mentioned while running down those starting lineups here today, but a guy in Eric Ramirez, he's got a great glove. He's DHing here today, probably just trying to figure out where they will put him on this Beavers roster. But he's a big-time addition to this lineup.
Yeah, this Beavers roster has a myriad of infielders who are more than capable defensively. And Eric Ramirez is just an addition to that list. And it's going to be hard for him to find his spot. He's a guy who can pretty much play anywhere in the infield except first. He's done it throughout his career, and the Beavers, like we mentioned, are kind of locked down at some of those spots, but Ramirez is good enough at the plate. He had a grand slam in his first appearance as a Unicorn, his pro debut, and he's good enough defensively that he should have no trouble finding his role on this team. It's just not going to be today in the DH spot, but another person we're excited to see, a great guy who we talked to when he was taking batting practice on that Sunday, I believe it was, when he hit his grand slam home run. And I'm excited to see him today at the dish again.
Well, speaking of home runs, Nick Kreitzer and Joe Burke, they had some mammoth shots on a line as well at times. The wind was certainly blowing out, and that aided some balls, but those were some convincing shots from those two.
Yeah, and I think if you would have told me that Nick Kreitzer and Joe Burke were each going to hit 2 home runs apiece, I would have told you the Diamond Hoppers, hey, they got their first win of the year. Still haven't quite gotten off the schneid. It was a tough day yesterday for the pitching staff, but Ryan Kotke, I talked to him, he said, you got to be excited to at least see the bats come alive. And
Sure.
Joe Burke looks really comfortable now. He's gotten that confidence back. Same thing for Nick Kreitzer. We talked about it on the call yesterday. Couldn't have picked 2 better guys to have really big days, especially days like that where they kind of dominate. Joe Burke was 2 for 3. One of his other at-bats was a walk, so he looks really comfortable. I was talking to Ryan Kotke yesterday before the game. He said Burke was originally scheduled to DH today, kind of give him a day to relax and pull back and figure out the struggles. Well, he beat Kotke to the punch. He figured out the struggles a day early, so now he's out there playing first. Ryan says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not going to mess with it. We'll see what he does today.
Well, it's the Beavers and the Hoppers coming at you shortly here on the USPBL night on Classic Rock Night. There's a live band in attendance as well down the right field line in the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union soundstage. We'll give you looks at them and much more when we get back here on the USPBL network. Stick with us.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Welcome back, everyone, to Jimmy John's Field. Jeremy Otto back alongside Brennan Shabat to bring you the call on Classic Rock Night here at the ballpark. We've already heard some good tunes, and those will continue throughout the night here today, so looking forward to that. The Hoppers also looking for their first victory here today. The broadcast is presented by the following sponsors. Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this fine league as well. The American flag being spread out in center field. They're going to announce the starting lineups here today in a minute inside the stadium. Another nice crowd filing in, especially on the patio spaces here today. There are the fuzzies, the allergens floating through the air. What do you do if, look at that, that's ridiculous. What do you do if, as a player, if you're allergic to that?
I don't know what you would do. I don't know what I would do. Those are our two. You and I have talked about it. We struggle and suffer from those allergies quite a bit. Those are our worst enemies right there, the fuzzies. As a player, I guess you got to just maybe, I mean, you got pockets in the back of those pants, stuff some Flonase back there, a couple tissues. You know, make sure you take the Zyrtec, the Claritin, whatever, before the game. That's got to be difficult, sneezing while trying to catch a fly ball.
Yeah, just a little bit. You kind of close your eyes when you see it most of the time. That's another good spot to catch a ball game. It's been full the last few days, and this is the first time these two teams have met up since Memorial Day. But just another perfect day for baseball here today. The sun kind of falling down and a little bit of a chill kind of coming through the air, but it's what you kind of expected this time of year as well. We've already talked about some of the newcomers here today. There will be a few more newcomers soon as well, because the summer showcase, when those college guys and some noticed guys from before become available. So it'll be interesting to see how these rosters shake out. But as we kind of talked about at the beginning of the season, yes, you've made the opening day roster, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're sticking past the tryout if you're not performing.
Well, part of it being a showcase league is it's also, like we've talked about, a performance league. And that goes with any league and any sport anywhere. You have to be able to perform to stick around. And while some of these guys made the opening day rosters, there are some other players available now that weren't at the time of opening day who think they can cut it and are going to come out here and give it their best shot, and that's what that showcase is for. And certainly some guys are going to have some spots up for grabs. And so we'll see some new faces and some rotating players and some changes here in the coming weeks. But yeah, the main thing, if you're a player, to focus on is make sure you're relaxed out there to have fun, but also go out there and just do your job, do what you know you can do. Take it easy. At the end of the day, it's just sports, and there are bigger things in life, and that should allow you to ease your mind a little bit and play some good ball.
Reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube on the chat section. Don Tanner comments on Facebook, says looking forward to getting out there soon as well. Rhodey says let's go Hoppers, and we have a comment that says T, so not exactly sure what that means, but if you want, you can clarify it for us.
A little cryptic. Maybe it'll be letter by letter.
Well, the starting lineups for the home Eastside Diamond Hoppers being announced. That means first pitch is very close when we get back on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough on your budget. Since interest rates compound daily, the amount you owe gets bigger and bigger each day the balance goes unpaid. A Green Path debt management program helps you regain control of your finances by lowering credit card interest rates, reducing your monthly payments, stopping late fees, improving overall financial health, paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less. Our caring certified counselors work with you to understand your financial picture and support you on the steps to get control of high-interest debt and achieve financial health. Call 844-572-5921 And get control of high-interest credit card debt today.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Your pitcher comparison is brought to you by Ascension each and every game here on the USPBL Network. Let's take a peek at that. Carson Ferry atop the hill. Their exciting lefty prospect for the Hoppers.
Yeah, there are reportedly some scouts in attendance this whole weekend checking out the USPBL, checking out some players and some pitchers. And Ferry him and his camp are in the hopes that he can have a good day today and impress some of those scouts and maybe get out of here, move on to the next level.
On the other side, Austin Shea, who we've already talked about a little bit, and we'll talk more when he gets out there as well. But your pitcher comparison brought to you by Ascension. We thank Ascension for their sponsorship of the USPBL Network and the league as a whole. Let's take a look at the defense behind Ferry here today, brought to you by Three Dimensional Services Group. It's Bayard in left, getting a start again here today. Porter in center. Lawler for the second straight day back out there, right? I'm sure he's happy to be there as well. De Los Santos at third. Pup at short. Paz completing the double play combination at second. Burke over at first with Luker, second member of the battery with Carson Ferry.
This defense for the Hoppers has struggled lately to start this season. That's been part of their issues in starts of games and getting behind quickly. And unfortunately for the Hoppers yesterday, it was later errors that kind of cost them a little bit. They got up 4-0 early in the game after a couple of home runs, as we mentioned, from Burke and Kreitzer, and ended the game, I believe it was, with 3 total errors that kind of put some salt in the wounds of the Mammoths offense.
Tyler Fraley getting ready to stride into the box here. 3 for 10 start for Tyler.
Not a whole lot of power, but a lot of speed at the top of the order for the Beavers. And Fraley's done a good job of getting on base, and that's exactly what their prerogative is. Get on, get around the bases once you get on and be in scoring position.
First pitch at 7:03 p.m. Eastern Time. It's strike one off the hands of Ferry.
This lineup for the Beavers is not loaded with power like maybe a Unicorns or a Mammoths lineup kind of seems, but that speed can resemble power as long as you can just get to second base and beyond.
So you see 91 and nearly 93 on that last fastball from Ferry.
You see that all day today from Carson Ferry.
We saw the velocity dip just a little bit in the 4th inning in his last outing. 1-1 chopped foul, but to be fair to Carson, he didn't expect probably to get to that point. And one reason why he was stretched out, if you want to call it that, in that game is because Pierce Banks was literally picked up in the middle of the game, who was scheduled to go the next day. But they're like, well, let's give Ferry some time. He'll probably become a starter now, and that is the case, at least for now.
Yep, just sort of getting used to that role still.
Curveball low, 2-2 on Fraley now. They still think maybe he projects a little bit better at the back end, but why not stretch him out and showcase him in front of scouts here today?
And who knows how much longer he'll be a starter if he does get some of those wishes and move on to a major league organization or an affiliate organization, they might prefer him as a bullpen guy or a closer. I mean, someone who can come in and throw 90 to 93 behind a starter is pretty valuable.
Now the 2-2. Ooh, perfect curveball at 77, in for strike 3.
It's a good way to start the game. Curveball's looking good. Fastball was located well with high velocity. Clearly caught Fraley off guard. I think he was sitting fastball there instead. Ferry came with that breaking ball. Put him away.
So both of these pitching staffs looking a bit different. Amani Godfrey is no longer with the Beavers either, so they have one less arm. The good thing for them is that they only play one game this week. Carson Ferry coming into play today, 3.60 ERA, 5 innings under his belt. 2 appearances, now his third, and this is his first start. Although it was kind of a pseudo start in terms of the pitch count he got in relief, piggybacking Verbrugge.
Early numbers look good for Ferry. 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. That translates to almost 11 Ks per 9 and a walk rate below 4. That's usually the benchmark of a good pitcher, someone who can throw less than 4 walks in 9.
91-mile-an-hour fastball low. It hasn't been lower than 91, and we've seen 93, 3 times, I believe, already here in the first inning? That's impressive. That's a tick above where we thought he might be here today. There is no wind. That flag in center field is limp. The pennants are barely grazing in left. 3-0. Fastball at 91 down low and a 4-pitch walk after a 2-2 strikeout to the top of the order. There they are, barely moving, and even before I was talking there, they were moving a little bit less than that even.
Cameron Collette, guy who comes into this game 7 for 11 on the year, is a hard guy to pitch to. Ferry clearly didn't want to give him anything over the heart of the plate.
Here's Marcus Page, 2 for 8 start for Marcus. He had a nice showing in batting practice after Vaughn Joshua made a few adjustments, really wanted him to pull the baseball. And Vaughn literally went, 5 feet in front of the third base line and said, "Hit me." I mean, he couldn't because the cage was fairly protective. I guess he could have technically if it got ripped through, but that's nicked off the helmet of Michael Luker there, fastball at 92. But it seemed to work.
Yeah, he's saying, hit me in the chest. That's what you want to do. And he said, when I'm not here, try to hit the third base coach in the chest. And Vaughn's out there at third base today. And, he's just trying to make sure Page has an awareness of how to do that, get out in front of that ball, get there early, and try to pull it down that line, try to hit the third base bag on a line.
Ferry collecting the 0-2. Here it comes. Curveball chop towards third base, but foul past De Los Santos. There's Vaughn.
The interesting thing about what the conversation Vaughn and Marcus had was, Vaughn was saying too, once you get that down, that pull and getting early, when you let the ball get deeper and try to hit it the opposite way, you'll realize that those fly balls are going further than they were before, and you'll have more pop coming off that bat.
Fastball outside, 1-2 on Marcus Page now. 3 walks, 3 Ks to go along with his 2 hits, and that's what you got to remember, even though this is week 3 of the USPBL. A lot of these guys still getting their footings in terms of the hitters. 8, 10, 15 at-bats at the most. And the Beavers had the least amount of games played thus far. So batting averages are not a thing right now. I mean, they are, but there's no use looking at them. With the occupied base, Page is out. Collette will take second, and that is the second K for Carson Ferry here today.
Another nice curveball, looking like that might be the put-away pitch today for Ferry. I think Page, again, kind of like Fraley was, the leadoff hitter, expecting fastball, sitting on it. Ferry's elevated in the zone with the fastball before to get strikeouts, and it's a good time to throw the curve.
15 pitches thus far here in the first inning for Ferry. Straight up defense with 2 outs and a Runner on second base here. Here's the power threat, Ryan Sullivan. Zings a fastball in at 92.
Well, I spoke with Ryan Kottke, co-manager of the Diamond Hoppers, before the game, and he was nice enough to give me credit for some of my predictions yesterday with who might be some home run hitters and just how the game was going to go. And he asked me who I'm looking at today, and I said this guy, Ryan Sullivan. He might get his first soon enough here.
Now the 0-1, fastball at 93, is fourth or fifth already here today. In for strike two. That's obviously what Ferry wants to do here today, and he's done it much better this year, just commanding the zone, hitting his targets early in counts, getting ahead.
Well, if you watch that glove of Michael Luker in the back, when he sets up, he doesn't have to move it a whole lot, and that's why Ferry's gotten ahead 0-2 in 3 counts already.
Sets up away as he blocks that pitch and curveball there by Ferry. You talk about hitting your spots, not shaking off the catcher. We learned that yesterday when we talked to Colin Ledbetter. He was so in sync with Nick Caruso. He said, I don't think he shook him off once in 3 innings. And that included the last 7 outs of the ball game. In innings 7, 8, 9 to the 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, and 3 hitters. He struck them all out.
It was an impressive night from Colin Ledbetter. Like we talked about, some scouts in the building, they were impressed from what we've heard, and rightfully so. I mean, 7 straight strikeouts. He didn't throw a ball until the last batter, and it was my fault because I jinxed him and pointed that out.
That's a change up there from Ferry on the last pitch. Something he's been working on a bit more, realizing he needs that third pitch here in pro ball. Breaking to third, and a looping curveball will allow him to strike out the side in the first inning. A walk is the only damage done. 3 Ks for Carson Ferry, not too bad. And the walk was a 4-pitch walk. He was able to shake it right off. Now time for your thrifty florist sweethearts of the game here today. So JJ presenting those flowers to Lisa in 107. Got a really nice front row seats there today. Always nice to have that one because you got the table you can pull out.
Not a bad seat in the house, but those are good ones. Those are especially good ones.
Now time for your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot here today. Or actually, no, this is Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Facts. I beg your pardon. It would only take 1 hour to drive to space going 60 miles an hour. There you go. That's
I'm usually going faster than that, too.
Why can't we make it other places that fast driving? Dr. Seuss wrote Green Eggs and Ham as part of a bet that he couldn't write a book using 50 words or less. Well, there you go.
That's a legendary book at it.
And the first TV commercial aired in 1941 during a Dodgers and Phillies game and cost $9.
That's a hefty price back in 1941.
There's a look at Austin Shea, your starting pitcher, presented by Ascension here today. Fastball, changeup, slurve for Shea. That fastball has been sitting more 87, 89.
Yeah,
you want to get it more consistently 91, 92.
Yeah, he's trying to push up into those low 90s with the fastball. That's what he's been working on. He's also focused on that slurve, too. He calls it a slider, and I think he wishes it was more like a slider. There's a little bit too much vertical break where it becomes more of a sliding curve where we get that slurve name from. So we'll see today what the velocity is like, what that slurve is like. That's going to be similar use that Ferry had in that first inning for Shea. That's going to be a put-away pitch, a 2-strike pitch, maybe get hitters to chase. But it's all about setting things up with the fastball. The fastball is the table mat and silverware of the dinner. It's the place setter, you know. You build everything based upon how that is going. And Shea's had a few rough innings where he hasn't quite commanded the fastball and had it at the velocity that he's wanted.
Check the defense behind Shea, brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Before his first pitch, it's Lawrence in left, Ford in center, Fraley's in right, Mercedes and Sullivan on the corners, Page and Collette up the middle, and Whitfield completing the battery with Austin here today. Here comes Alex Pup. Boy, has it been a good start for Alex Pup at the plate. Another hit yesterday, including a walk. Slides to the leadoff spot here today. We saw him 9th to begin the year. Slid up to 2 the last few games, and now leading off as the fastball rides outside at 88 to begin Shea's outing.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Alex Pup is that he's going against this Beavers defense who has so much speed in the outfield, and I'm going to be surprised if there are many balls hit from the hoppers to the gaps today, because those outfielders, Fraley, Lawrence, and Ford, are just going to hawk some of these balls today in the outfield.
Waiting on the 2-0. Fastball down. Those outfielders you speak of, fairly deep with the lack of wind that we're seeing here today. The middle of the infield spread out. Page and Collette's in their respective holes.
Hitters are getting more comfortable too, so wind or no wind, warm or cold, the balls are going to be hit deeper into this outfield.
That went off the knob of the bat, kind of a funky look. Don't see that too often. Almost looked like it hit him at first. So 3-1. And what has been their best hitter? Big rip, but foul. Best fastball today at 90 for Austin Shea.
He's right up there, and Shea is one of those guys who might be able to get the velocity to increase as the day goes on and kind of get warm and get in a rhythm and get a nice feel for it, and then just kind of let it ride its way up to 91, 92.
3-2, again, fouled off, looking for that high fastball, but Pup right on it. Don't have a lot of leeway here. Trying to go a little bit higher because you risk walking the leadoff man as well.
And Pup has some speed, too. Not a guy you want on base at the top of the lineup.
Ready and ready, another 3-2. Fastball again reaching towards the outer edges.
Well, this is a textbook at bat so far for Alex Pup. First batter of the game already coming up on the 8th pitch. You want a lot of pitches. Every extra pitch in a pitch count that you can get is a benefit to your team and the guy behind you in the lineup.
Ooh, first slurve. He literally threw 8 straight fastballs, so that had to look a bit different to Pup, and you saw him kind of back out of the way, but he works a leadoff walk. Here's Blake Porter now, 1 for 5. Or actually 1 for 5 yesterday, I should say, with a strikeout. Patrolling center field. Fastball at 90 below the knees. Lance Robinson comments on Facebook, another beautiful night for baseball. It sure is.
We've had a lot of them lately.
70 degrees at game time. Pup Bluffs. Boy, he took a good 3, 4, 5 running steps towards second base, and he pulled up.
That's a half bluff. He could have got thrown out at first if Whitfield wanted to fire it down there. I'll tell you what, Whitfield and Omar Ortiz, the backup catcher today, were working on some of that stuff when I got to the field, throwing out runners, and both of them looked really sharp behind the dish.
Slurve fouled off. And Whitfield giving a look here today. I want him to see a little bit more catching reps. He's mostly been an outfielder, and that's been his primary first base position. Or first base and outfield has been his 2 primary positions.
Taller guy with some speed, has a lot of reach.
Pup moving, Porter swinging. Still a 1-2 count. But he was working in the offseason with a catching coach. We're hearing that secondhand, so we haven't gotten that clarified who it is, but we think it's somebody from the St. Louis Cardinals organization. Try to get that clarified with Eric. So he's not totally green to the position. Popped him up. Mercedes giving it a look. Cruising towards the third base bag. Collects it for out number 1.
Next up for the Hoppers, the first baseman, number 15, Joe Burke.
Now, Joe Burke, boy, did he flex his muscles yesterday. 2 home runs. Him and Kreitzer were hitting back-to-back in this lineup today, moving up a spot each.
You certainly want to get these guys up there early. If they can get up there, like in this situation, less than 2 outs, a base runner on, that can be very beneficial. That was part of the downfall.
First pitch outside, runner moving again, sneaks into center field. This Pup will stay right where he is, a stolen base.
Boy, that was a nice slide in there from Pup, a long dive. But back to my point, part of the detriment yesterday for the Diamond Hoppers was they had 4 home runs and only 5 runs total. You know, ideally, you want your 3, 4, 5 hitters who have, in the best case scenario, base runners on in front of them to be the power hitters that are hitting home runs. And that's why we see Burke and Kreitzer move up a spot in the hopes that they can get up here in the first inning after a guy like Pup gets on base. And like we talked about yesterday, couldn't have picked 2 better guys on this Hoppers lineup to have big days and in the fashion that they did.
91-mile-an-hour fastball away, 2-0 on Joe Burke. 5 for 18 now, 4 RBIs. 3 walks, 3 Ks. That open stance, back foot on the edge of the chalk. 2-0. Good rip, but foul. Well, you can tell he just kind of held that bat there. He wanted a bit more of that.
Yeah, he did. He saw a pitch he liked. He knew with a 2-0 count, Shea was going to have to come to him and bring it into the zone. And pitches in the zone, Burke punished yesterday. He just looks so much more comfortable now, more confident, kind of back into a groove.
Now the 2-1. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 2. Page really close to that second base bag with Pup kind of dangling off. Now the 2-2 to Joe. Slurve away, got out the glove of Whitfield, and easily cruising to third is Pup. So one of those cases of using your legs to wreak havoc.
Yeah, we kind of expected that to be what the Beavers did today, but now Pup has gotten from first all the way to third on his own accord.
Full count pitch outside. You can tell Whitfield trying to bring that back in, but not so. It's the second walk in this inning with only 1 out, and Kreitzer will try to do some damage.
Lefty-righty matchup here.
Second home run yesterday, just easy kind of flipping the bat on it.
Didn't even look like he tried to get it.
Now that's fastball by Shea at 93, his best so far here today, but couldn't locate it. First pitch to Kreitzer. Starts him off with a slurve for strike 1. Shea was very fastball heavy in his first outing. Really wanted to expand his usage in the second outing he had, which he did. Now the 0-1. Kreitzer with a big rip, but off the end of the bat.
That's good for Shea. That shows he's not in a rush to kind of get anything done and reach any milestones. He knows it takes patience and it takes time to develop all your pitches and your arsenal. And so, you know, once you get out there on the mound, you can't practice anything anymore. You got to just stick with what you've got.
0-2 high. Fastball at 90.
It's like golf. When you're on the driving range, that's when you work on your swing. But when you bring it to the course, you better shut up and have the swing that you have. Don't work on anything out there on the tee box.
In on the hands. Will it stay in foul territory? Mercedes has a good beat on it, and he makes the catch. In front of the third base dugout, he snaps to third base, and he got him. Alex Pup ranging off the bag, and just like that, the inning is over. Kreitzer the second out, Pup the third out, and after the 2 walks and runners on first and third with only 1 out, Shea wiggles out of the jam thanks to his defense.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Jeremy Otto and Brendan Shabath back with you here from the ballpark. Carson Ferry out there for his second inning of work. Both of these two pitchers surrendering walks thus far, but that has surmounted into the only base runners.
Tonight might be a pitcher's duel between these two squads.
First pitch to Whitfield, 90 up high.
Some real quality arms on the mound.
We talked about in the pregame show, the velocity certainly could be a factor here today.
Well, we expect the newcomer, Jacob Wisinski, to back up Ferry whenever his day is done. And Wisinski's another guy who, indoors in his first showing with the Hoppers, didn't throw a fastball under 89. And he's a guy who stands at 6'8", has a lot of room to throw that arm hard downhill from the top of Mount Everest. And that can lead to some velocity. And outdoors, you're usually faster than indoors as well.
Now the 1-1 to Whitfield, popped him up. Pop. And De Los Santos going after it. It's De Los Santos who drifts to the center of the diamond for out number one. Yeah, I call some college basketball, so I kind of had flashbacks to the winner. You got to look up to have a conversation with our new arm here in the USPBL.
Yep.
And we said, hey, did you play any other sports growing up? He said, no, it's baseball.
It's baseball. I'm sure someone tried to coax Wisinski into getting to play some basketball, but 6'8", that makes him the new tallest member of the USPBL.
First pitch to Mercedes, cut and miss. That one at 93. He's hit 93, 5-6 times already here in the first couple innings of this game. Ramirez next, and then Travius Ford. They can get a man to reach. 0-1 running in with the changeup that time. A pitch that's growing on him. 1-1 pop foul, and it's interesting because the changeup is just slightly slower than the curveball. It's usually the other way around. Some guys' curveball really differs from their fastball. It's still a good differentiation though on both pitches, because when you're running that up at 92 and then the changeup's around 75, the curveball, or the changeup around 74, 75, curveball anywhere from 75 to 77. Kind of that perfect differential when you're really good. I mean, you can get it 10 miles an hour or more.
That's the goal. You can keep hitters off balance like that.
Now the 2-2. Curveball. Ooh, where did that miss?
I don't know.
Hooking in at 77. Not much of a reaction there from Ferry. Big pitch here with one out. The 3-2. In on the hands. Pup with a tough play. Got him. What a play by Alex Pup. Makes some of those tough plays look easy.
Yeah, Pup has had a few highlight plays over there at short early on in this season, and certainly can expect to see more of those as this year continues. And this infield has a tendency, we've talked about it a little bit, but to make some routine plays not routine anymore. The way the ball can chop and bounce off of the grass or even the dirt as well.
First pitch to Ramirez, low, 78-mile-an-hour slurve that time, or curve that time. Boy, these guys have the same arsenal, basically. But Shea, kind of classified as the slurve. You get them mixed up sometimes, but.
Yep. Yeah, Ferries is more of a true curveball. It focuses on vertical break.
89, zinger in for strike one. Some bite from the outer half back towards the middle of the plate that time. Porter plays on the right side of second base and center. Baird is deep, touching nearly the warning track out there on left. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss, 91 by him.
Yeah, Ramirez was ready for the fastball, a little in front of it.
The thud into the mitt there.
Yeah, that pop. You can hear that pop. You know it's a good fastball that day.
2 up, 2 down. 4 straight retired by Ferry. He's only allowed a walk. That was back in the first. Now the 1-2. Curveball in on the hands. Perfect. Cut from the middle of the plate, probably to the inside corner or off. Carson Ferry has struck out 4 through 2 on the USPBL network.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Good pitching so far here today, as we expected. Sean Lawler, Chris De Los Santos, and Andrew Bayard will bat here in the second inning against Austin Shea. A pair of walks thus far for Shea, but bailed out of sorts. Weak pop out down the third base line with all this foul territory. Probably most other stadiums besides the Oakland Coliseum and Oakland for the A's. That would have been out of play, but Mercedes, credit to him, he did a really good job to sprint to that baseball fast. Fired over to third base with Collette covering, and they got a double play with 2 men on first and third.
And smart by Mercedes to recognize the aggression in the base running from Alex Pup and kind of be aware to make sure you check the runner as soon as you make that catch.
Fly ball to left center field, chasing Ford back to the track. It's actually Lawrence who's going to make the play for the first out in left.
We talked about it. I mean, that ball is almost squarely in the gap, right where the fence changes its angle. No trouble at all for Lawrence. Even if Ford was going to get it, he wasn't going to have any trouble with it. I mean, these outfielders, these 3 today, Lawrence, Ford, and Fraley, are going to cover a lot of ground. The Hoppers, if they want to get some extra base hits, or get on base with some singles. They need to be on the ground and lined.
First pitch to Chris De Los Santos. You could tell as soon as he delivered that one, kind of off the edge of the fingertips and outside.
Just hung on to it a little bit too long. It's like Benny the Jet teaching Smalls and Sandlot how to throw the ball where you got to release it.
One at 87, hit the corner for strike one. Bayard on deck, Luker to follow. Shea looking for a quick inning. He works quickly, certainly. 1-1. Fastball in there for strike two. Velo has taken a little bit of a dip here in the second. Saw him as high as 93 back in that first. Now the 2-1. Nearly hit him at 89. 3-1 on De Los Santos. Just one walk to 3 Ks. Not a guy you really want to walk here with one out in the second. (3-1). Chopped it foul.
A little excitement there from De Los Santos. Saw a pitch he wanted. Fastball up. Was ready for it. Shea did a good job keeping it on the inner half and on the hands. Don't let the barrel get to it.
Shortstop Collette nearly touching the grass. Whole infield is back here with one out. Fouled off. Fastball elevating back to 90. De Los Santos, the returner from last year. Out of Indiana Tech, the 3-2. Nearly hit him again and takes his walk. As Shea has now surrendered 3 walks in an inning and a third. That has been a problem since he's been in a USPBL uniform. Not as much this year, though. That now makes it 7 walks to 11 Ks. Came in 4 walks, 11 Ks. Has not struck out a batter so far here today. First pitch to Bayard, try to check his swing. He could not. They do appeal, and that's confirmed. Strike one on the changeup. Short lead for De Los Santos at first. Fastball at 89, in for strike two.
Little tail on that fastball there, breaking away from the hitter.
And even though Shea has not been able to locate probably as good as he wants, these hitters don't look exactly comfortable, especially.
No, I would agree with that, yeah.
Here in the second, as the fastball is by him, there's K number 1 for Austin. Even when De Los Santos was ahead 3-1, he took the healthy hack, but didn't get a lot on the pitch inside.
Yeah, I think some of that has to do with that little action that is at the end of Shea's fastball, and obviously Shea is trying to throw this fastball as hard as he can and keep that velocity up, but he has differed in velocity, which can throw off a hitter a little bit too. You know it's the fastball, but sometimes it's 87, sometimes it's been 89, 90. So even that little bit of difference you can pick up in your eye as the hitter, and you got to try to adjust for it, but it's not always easy to do.
Slurve in for strike one. It's perfect positioning on that one. He's thrown it a couple times on the first pitch, try to get these hitters off balance. De Los Santos in motion. Good pitch to throw on, a little high, as Page tried to get the swipe tag. De Los Santos swipes one now.
Yeah, that's kind of where Whitfield's miss was early today in practice, high and right, which isn't always a bad miss. If you get it down there fast enough, that second baseman can often apply that tag to the top of the head or the shoulders and up to whoever the base runner is.
Popped him up, Whitfield ranging, makes the catch right in front of the on-deck circle. That for the third out here in the second inning. Shea again wiggling out of a mini jam. He's walked 3 and struck out 1 through 2.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Trion's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Trion, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTrion.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field here on Classic Rock Night. American Ages blessing us with some Toto and Africa classic rock song. We've heard some AC/DC, some Queen, some Eagles, personal favorite of mine. Fantastic day to be here at the ballpark on Classic Rock Night. It's 0-0 here between the Hoppers and the Beavers. Ferry's out there right now, coming out for his third inning of work against this Beavers lineup. Be the 8-9 one-hitters, Ford, Lawrence, and Fraley. The outfielders out there, center fielder, right fielder, center fielder, left fielder, right fielder. Travius Ford back in the starting lineup today after punching an 0-2 pitch for a 3-run blast in his professional debut on Memorial Day. Speedy guy who the Beavers wanted to get on the base paths as much as possible.
First pitch from Ferry popped him up. This one's going to scoot into foul territory there. Some oohs and ahs. Somebody missed one down there maybe?
Yeah, you never know. Usually it's cheers when someone makes the catch.
True.
So, and an ah when they just miss it.
Or cheers when they really think they should have caught it.
Yeah.
The 0-1 broke his bat right back at Carson, ate him up, and so did Pup.
Wow. Tough bounce off the mound for Ferry. And that's I'll tell you what, though. Travius Ford is probably going to be safe either way on a soft ground ball like that, rushing down to first base. And now we'll get to see what speed he can show from first. But, yeah, man, Ferry was ready for that right there, waiting for it, and then whoop, change of direction off the bump.
Yeah, ruled that a hit on the board. Not a surprise. It was kind of a do-or-die play as well for Pup, who decided to try to barehand it. It went off the right hand in the end. There's the lead for Ford. He doesn't need much of a lead if he wants to go. Fastball at 90.
Well, I want to remind everybody what Travius Ford told us one of his goals is going to be this year is that when he gets on base, get to third base by the second or third pitch of the next at-bat. So we'll see. It should be soon that he takes off here.
Ferry stares at him a couple times, staying 1-0. Fly ball to center. Porter is under, calls for it. We'll collect out number 1 here in the third.
I think Ford trying to stay out of an accidental double play in which maybe a line out or a pop out, and he's already all the way down at second and has to retreat back to first. Now with 1 out, might be more of a stealing position for him. I know Josh Hines, the first base coach over there, wants to see him go just as badly as I do. So he's probably telling Ford, don't hold back. That lead looks a little bit bigger than it was before.
Just going to say the same thing. He's staying in a big hopping secondary. That one golfed into right. Lawler to play. Ford will put the brakes on. Uh-oh. He didn't slide, and that was a close play.
Well, he thought about going for third, which I was almost expecting for a second. But then on his way back to second, uh-oh. Oh, Travius Ford got caught with the hidden ball trick, I think. He was just called out at second. Pup was behind him coming from the direction of center field, and I saw him just quickly place a tag and show the ball to the ump, and he was called out. I think Ford thought maybe the umpire called time.
Well, there you go. We don't see that too often.
That's why you never step off the bag.
That's the second out in big fashion here in the third after a couple leadoff hits. First pitch curveball high to Collette, maybe inside as well. Shane from Roseville chimes in on YouTube. Kelvin Jones, a Ford fan, as he says hello. Tim Ruthenberg cheering for the Hoppers today. He'll be at the game tomorrow. Now the 1-0. Off the end of the bat, nearly dislodged his helmet as well in the process. Cameron Collette walked back in the first. That was on a 4-pitch walk. Ferry readying the 1-1. Fastball at 92 outside. 2-1 now on Collette, the shortstop today. Jeremy Idle alongside Brendan Shabat to bring you the call here tonight. So glad you could tune in on your Saturday. One more on the docket tomorrow at 1:05. It's the Mammoths and Beavers. The 2-2, or the 2-1. Now 2-2 as he swings through it. Greg Lokinen will get the start tomorrow as Donovan Thacker went yesterday. Went Thacker, Dearman, Beckman. Thacker unfortunately barely lasted a batter. Winston held his side. So Dearman given that emergency role as much time as he needed to warm up. 2-2, runner moving, fouled off. Got to give credit to Christian Dearman as well. It didn't start very smoothly. Saw the home run by Burke and Kreitzer in the same inning. Burke the following inning in the third as well. Did coax a 1-2-3 fourth. And he lasted all the way to the sixth in the 9-inning game.
It's a pretty good job from Dearman in a very tough situation to come in.
2-2, nasty looking curveball. More of a tighter break that time, in on the hands. And that's strikeout number 5 for Carson Ferry. Showing off against in front of the scouts today. Your fifth third bank, fifth third outs of this game. Now time for JJ the Water Boy as well, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. A little bit of water there. He did bring it out. He's been leaving and being excited for the treat lately a little bit and forgetting the water. But
he decided to stay, keep our guys some company. Man's best friend.
You have a dog, right? We talked about this before.
I don't.
You don't?
Okay. My dad's allergic, but...
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, my whole life. Never had a dog, never had a cat. But soon enough, I'll be out of the house and on my own, which is a scary thought. But one of my first adult purchases, I have vowed, will be a dog.
Good to know. So here's Lucas and your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot, and Ribby is actually competing here today. Lucas does take a lead in his Tigers jersey here today. Oi, oi! Ribby's head falls off down there. And Nafi Mercedes is going to help him out. Lucas all the way around third base heading to home.
Man, we thought we might see the first upset in history of Kid Race the mascot. Ribby came hot out of the gates, and his own undoing loses it.
Going to get a high five from your home plate umpire here today as well. Austin Shea taking the mound for the Beavers here on the USPBL Network. Shea getting ready for his third inning. Walker Paz, the bottom of the order. Then Alex Pup and Blake Porter to bat here in the third.
After tonight's game, for your chance to win some great prizes.
It was a good inning for Shea in the second, just a one-out walk, and then De Los Santos stole second. Got Baird swinging, and a weak contact pop-out to Michael Luker. So he's given up just 3 base runners today, all of them being walks. 2 walks in the first inning, plus the double play to get him out of the inning in the end.
Good fastball there from Shea. Outside half, low and away. Even if you're going to swing at that like Pup did, tough to put any meaty part of the bat on it.
The 0-1. Slurve away, 1-1 on Paz. Batting a little bit lower in the lineup here today. Hit 8th yesterday, 9th today. Moved around in terms of positions. 1-1. Ooh, that had some weird movement to it, but it ended up below 2-1 on Paz. Kind of started away and then zinged back late towards the heart of the plate, but too low. Another 2-1. Fastball high and away. 3-1 on Walker Paz. Classic rock night here at the ballpark. Band playing in the Michigan School and Government Credit Union soundstage out in right center.
Playing Africa by Toto in between innings. Classic.
It's a good one. There's the 4th walk for Shea. Second leadoff walk. Back to the top of the order to a hot hitter in Alex Pup. Talked about tomorrow, Mammoth playing the Unicorns. It's also Jurassic Adventure Day at the ballpark. You can win free movie tickets to see Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th at MJR Theaters. First pitch, fly ball, left field. Lawrence looking up. He watches it into the glove. Oh, my goodness. The way Pup reacted, he thought it was way gone, but that one hung up there long enough. One of the higher ones you see that won't scoot out. And that's the first down here in the 3rd inning.
Well, that ball traveled a long way, only to be recorded as an F7. I think that might be the closest one we've seen or will see this year to being a home run that wasn't. I mean, Lawrence caught that on the yellow stripe.
And just how he reacted at first, I think he thought it was gone as well.
I thought it was.
He's like, oh, boy, I got to get to the gap at least and see if I have a chance at this one, as the slurve is off the plate outside. So a sigh of relief for Austin Shea and the Beavers here. As the sun shines its final rays here tonight. The lights are on, getting a bit chilly as this one's over the head of Page into center field. Paz to second, and now runners on first and second with 1 out.
Well, like we talked about, that's exactly how you're going to get past this defensive outfield for the Beavers. You got to hit liners, you got to hit grounders to the holes, keep them out of positions where those 3 can make a catch. That's exactly what Porter did.
Third inning, brought to you by Chevrolet. We thank them for their partnership here at the USPBL. And they catch Paz kind of ranging off the bag. Page wasn't really there in time. He scattered at the end, but everybody holds their place.
Defenders got to be on their toes right now. Power hitter Joe Burkup and Paz on second can easily score on almost any single right here, especially with how aggressive he is and has been on the base paths. And I think the Diamond Hoppers are really pushing to get that first run across right now. They've been second to the scoreboard in a lot of their games. Yesterday they were finally first.
0-1 away, really dancing off that second base bag was Paz. He was a quarter or more away towards third base.
Yeah, I would say about 35, 40% towards third. Yeah, the Hoppers right now kind of feel like the Tigers. If they can get on board first, they can be in a good position to win.
Fastball chiseled off. 1-2 on Burke. Walk back in the first. 1 of 4 walks surrendered by Shea thus far. No runs off 2 hits and no errors for the Beavers. No runs off 1 hit and no errors for the Hoppers. It's been a clean line for the most part, despite the walks. 1-2 stood him up straight at 90. Here's the flag. It's a non-factor, the wind here today.
L-I-M-P with a capital L.
The 2-2 to Burke. Little excuse me swing. Sullivan ranges off the bag, and nothing he can really do about Paz advancing to third. Porter to second. Now a chance with another power hitter up, and Nick Kreitzer is still driving some runs here.
Next up, the designated hitter number 17, Nick Kreitzer. Nick is the beer banner of the
Kreitzer popped out to Mercedes at third back in the first. No action in the bullpen. These two guys are looking to be kind of stretched out today. Shea with 51 tosses thus far.
Both of them don't really have a pitch limit today. It's kind of go till you feel like you can't. And be honest, you know, tell your coaches when you're tired, when you don't think you can get another side retired.
Kreitzer waiting on the 0-1 with 2 runners in scoring position. His eyes lighting up. Change up in for strike 2.
It's a good pitch for Kreitzer to hit. Maybe he doesn't expect that changeup to be there at 0-1.
Quickly 0-2. Delays. Here it comes. Shot to second. Page surrounds it. Not the easiest hop if you haven't been there before, but he handles it like a pro for the third out here in the third inning. When we come back, Brendan Shabath has innings 4 and 5 of play-by-play on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
There is Carson Ferry coming out for his 4th inning of work today for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Has pitched very well so far. Make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ks to just 1 walk for Ferry. He's only given up 2 hits. They both came in that last inning, the 3rd. Still no runs for either team. As we said, and kind of expected pitching duel so far tonight. It'll be Page, Sullivan, Whitfield, 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Beavers. Page struck out swinging in his first appearance in inning number 1. Lefty-righty matchup. Initial offering from Ferry. Fastball low at 90, popped up by Page. Lawler coming in. Burke and Paz going back. Lawler calls him off. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
And kind of one of those in a tough area. You saw Sullivan, Page, Fraley all converging. Fraley calling him off in the end. And good way to start this 4th inning. And we see nearly 90 miles an hour there from Carson Ferry as well. So that's good to see. His pitch count is in check. That's only 44 for him through 3 1/3.
Mentioned that last one was lefty-righty. The only lefty today in the lineup for the Beavers is the leadoff hitter, Tyler Fraley. Swing and a miss for the power righty guy, Ryan Sullivan. Sullivan playing first today. Hails from Gonzaga for his college days. He's only 1 for 9 to start the year. 1 RBI, 3 Ks. Not much power yet, and that one dinked him on the leg. First hit batter today for either pitcher, and Sullivan will take first.
We've seen both of these arms kind of pitch backwards, if that even exists in today's day and age. Obviously, we go off the analytics at the next level, Major League especially, but you saw 2 sliders in a row. A first one really good to Sullivan, kind of not knowing what to expect. Could throw 92, could throw it again. He threw it again. That was his choice.
Sullivan 1 for 1 on stolen bases this year. That pitch is low, ball 1 to the catcher, Eric Whitfield. Sullivan not exactly a speed threat on first. Has that stolen base, I think, by virtue of a defensive decision to let him have it in an earlier game this season. The 1-0 is fouled away. Whitfield 3 for 9 this year. Only 1 strikeout. As we mentioned, trying to cement his role as the starting and everyday catcher in this Beavers lineup. Part of that comes at the plate. Here's the 1-1. Fastball at 92, bottom of the zone for a strike.
Kind of that challenging part of the day. We saw the shadows really kind of come into effect yesterday. Not as much today, but now the bright sunshine coming back out. The outfielders maybe bringing the shades back down.
Lawler's staring into that sun over and right. The 1-2 curve from Ferry misses.
That curve has been playing a little bit harder and more like a slider lately, I feel like, but effective at that.
That one was at 76. Mitch Akers said it's going to be anywhere from 74 to 80, so a lot of diversity in that. Some fine-tuning still necessary on that curve for Ferry. Here's a fastball low. Up to Pup, flip to second, throw to first, and a double play. A 6-4-3 stereotypical twin killing, and we head to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 0 on the U.S. PBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Throughout your life, From big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Austin Shea sticking out there for his 4th inning of work against this home Eastside Diamond Hoppers lineup. It'll be Lawler, De Los Santos, and Bayard for Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski's squad. Here in the bottom of the 4th, game tied at 0. Only 1 hit so far for the Diamond Hoppers. 5 left on base through 3 innings. Lawler hard hit into right. Fraley collects on the single, leadoff single, first pitch single from Sean Lawler.
Third baseman, number 23, Chris De Los Santos.
Lawler's shown some incredible plate discipline, really just as a DH for the first couple weeks. Wanted to make sure his arm was at 100%, was cleared to throw last Monday, or this Monday actually, I think is this Monday.
Yeah.
Was the proper time, but they're happy to have him back both ways.
Yeah, you mentioned his plate discipline. Lawler's on base right now, and it's not by virtue of a walk. 7 walks to start this year, 3 for 9 coming into the day. Lawler flew out in the second. Now it's De Los Santos. He walked in the second behind Lawler's fly out. Got a stolen base as well. Now he's working with a man on and nobody out. Chopped foul on the 0-1. There's a slurve at 76. Almost got De Los Santos to bite on the 0-2. Instead, he holds back. Ball 1. De Los Santos, 23 years old, hailing from Miami, Florida. Spent 3 seasons at Indiana Tech in the NAIA for his college days. Another slurve misses 2-2. De Los Santos, a second-year USPBL member, was on this Diamond Hoppers squad last year, had 12 RBIs, hit .216 with a .521 OPS. 2-2 inside, count is full. Very important pitch here for Austin Shea and the future of his pitch count. Full count, runner on, nobody out. Payoff pitch. Fastball edge, got him looking. 87, low and away, and De Los Santos watched it go by.
Something we've seen a little bit better as this outing has continued for Shea, able to locate the pitch right where he wants. That's perfect for strike 3 and his second K here tonight.
First K looking of the day for Austin Shea, and now here's Drew Bayard. Bayard out in the left today. It's primarily been his defensive assignment. Has had some games in center. A few in right with the absence of Lawler, but now Lawler's back in the lineup and now on first. Bayard hits this one to right. Page going back, Fraley coming in. Really short pop-up to Page for out number 2. So after a leadoff single, Shea goes 2 up and 2 down. And now comes up the catcher, Michael Luker.
Well, Luker really still trying to figure it out at the plate here in pro ball. Limited time for the Beavers last year. Now in the Hoppers, obviously 1 for 10. 0 for 5 to begin this year with a couple strikeouts. Just hasn't seen a lot of consistent time at the catching position, but looking for a knock here right now.
Whit Hughes has garnered a big role behind the plate as Luker fouls the first pitch back at that catcher position for John Dombrowski and Ryan Kotke. So Luker, only with 5 at-bats. That average is going to go up quite a bit with a hit right here. Still a lot of time and room to develop. 23-year-old from Muskegon, a local kid. 23 is going to be younger in the USPBL than most. Would say, what would you guess? We haven't done the math. What would you guess the average is? I'd say 24 and a half, 25.
That sounds about right, yeah. One team specifically is the Beavers. They're pretty old. 25 to 27 is more kind of their range.
Runner goes. Hard hit foul, though, out of play over towards the umbrella short of the Chevy Pavilion by Luker.
Not sure if that was necessarily a hit and run. Usually don't see those with 2 outs, and in general not a lot of signs distributed, as we talked about in the past. Ryan Cockey doesn't look like he's doing much down there in terms of signs on the third base line, so just kind of watching the runner.
Lawler waiting on first. Doesn't go this time. This pitch in the left-handed batter's box. Evens up the count 2 apiece.
And at times they'll bring those back when the playoffs start. You know, maybe down the stretch run, but for the most part, if you have the green light, you have the green light. If you don't, you don't.
Didn't think Lawler did. He hasn't attempted a steal this year. Excuse me, check that. Lawler's 1 for 1, actually. And now another full count as that slurve misses inside. Luker waiting on the 3-2. Lawler waiting on first. 2 outs. Lawler goes. Luker checked his swing short and foul.
The Beavers in a pretty decent position in terms of their pitching, given the amount of games they've played this week. Obviously, they played on Monday, but, you know, all the way to Saturday now, you can kind of view that as last week. I mean, it was a stretch of last week's games.
Yeah, the week-to-week is more of a Thursday through Sunday in the USPBL schedule.
They do want to see Blankenship, Crick, and possibly Devin as well.
Lawler going on the full count, and he walked him. Luker does a good job staying disciplined, and now there's 2 on and 2 out for Walker Paz in the 9-hole.
What a start it's been for James Crick. That fastball just consistently pounding in the zone. 2 innings thrown, 4 hits. No walks, 2 strikeouts. Excited to see him again at some point in the later innings. You see a little bit of stirring out there. That's Devin, who is up and looking.
Zach Devin is believed to be hot today, but maybe in relief, as this one is a little bloop foul from Paz.
He was on loan. My bad. He was on loan to the Hoppers in the last game. Started for them.
Pitched against his own team. Had a good outing. It was the relief pitchers in that game who gave up some of the runs in the 4-0 loss to the Beavers on Memorial Day. James Crick, as you mentioned, Jeremy, might be one of those guys who competes with Colin Ledbetter of the Mammoths for, you know, big-time closer of the year. Crick, a 6'4" guy who throws hard downhill. Paz looks at a second strike.
With the lefty at the plate and 2 outs and 2 strikes. Sullivan playing behind Luker, not even close, so he's able to get a pretty healthy lead without worrying much about it.
And the 0-2. Low missed it. 89 fastball. So coming up on 75 pitches here for Austin Shea. Would like to get out of this inning before he gets to 75. Could probably come out for a 5th. Shea's a guy who can go 85, 90. That one's high, 2-2.
It just depends on how long they want to throw Blankenship, because he's supposed to be the first guy to the bench, but maybe that is why you see Devin out there. He might throw one before.
Devin might be the bridge between Shea and Blankenship. 2's all on the board. 2 on, 2-2, 2 outs. And now 3-2. Another full count, the 3rd this inning from Austin Shea. The first one to De Los Santos led to a strikeout. The most recent one to Michael Luker led to a walk. What will Walker Paz do? Shea kind of Faked like he was going to go and stepped off. Balk territory there. Umpires say no, though, so we'll reset. Runners will be on the move. And he hit him. So a little bit of everything in the results of full counts for Austin Shea. A strikeout, a walk, and now a hit batter to Walker Paz to load the bases for the Diamond Hoppers.
Exactly what you didn't want to do there with the top of the order due up. The whole infield will come together and try to settle down their pitcher, maybe buy some time for the bullpen if they want to start throwing. There is no throwing at the moment. Maybe some stretching. A lot of guys are up and just kind of running around, getting loose, but
hanging out what they're doing.
Yeah, it's at that moment where unless it really gets out of hand here in the fourth, they definitely want them to go 4. I mean,
yeah,
that's clear.
See Eric Sandness there on the right with the jacket. James Crick all the way on the right with that big beard. Blankenship is the one on the left getting ready. Like we said, we expect him to be first out of the pen depending on how far Shea can go. And that all depends on what this man's going to do. Alex Pup 0 for 1 with a walk. That ball squirts away back to the backstop, and the Diamond Hoppers score a run. Lawler comes around from third, and the first run of the game scored by virtue of a pass ball.
Yeah, the backstop not too lengthy directly behind home plate, but as you see there, it kind of juts into the corners, so not easy once the ball gets all the way back. But a great read by Lawler. There was no question, even if that ball kind of stuck on that padding right there, that he was going to score.
Luker moved up to third, Paz up to second. Now the 1-0 to Pup is in there for strike 1. Sixth batter sent to the dish in this inning. Surprisingly, sixth batter, only 1 hit so far this inning for the Hoppers. That one's in the dirt and passed again. This time, Luker stays at third, doesn't go. That one squirted back there a little more quickly than the last one. Now 2-1 to Pup.
And that bounced maybe a bit for Whitfield as well. And not many people that would know better on how to read those than Luker, being a fellow catcher.
Yep. Pup swings and misses on the 2-1, even in the count.
One of those games that's kind of trudging along, but not a lot of offense. We certainly saw a bundle of offense yesterday early.
Enough for 2 games. Maybe that's the offense was zipped out of this game after it was stolen yesterday. 2-2, check to swing, might have hit the nub of the bat. Looked like that one caught Whitfield, maybe in the face, right up along the mask. It was a called ball, so now the 4th full count. We've had a walk, a strikeout, a hit by pitch. And we're going to see a hit here. Now, did he call it a ball, actually? The count has stayed on 2-2 on the scoreboard. That might just be a foul ball on the check swing. I thought it hit the nub.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here looking at the replay. Might have hit his hand as well. Yeah, it looks like it hit the hand, maybe just above the palm.
Nonetheless, it's still 2-2. Now it's a full count. There we go.
Yeah, it hit in a really odd spot where normally your glove would protect it, but not so.
3-2 to Pup. This one's hit to the gap in left. Ford coming over. Lawrence comes in. This is easily going to score 2 runs. And how about a clutch hit from Alex Pup? A 2 RBI single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, he turned around that inside pitch. Didn't get great contact on it, but got enough of the barrel to loft it into left center field. And you knew right away that would score 2.
Luker easily scored from third. Paz came all the way around from second.
Just kind of looking at the replay as well. That one fairly high, but left up there at 87.
And now this one's hit to Page at second. Should be easy out number 3, and it is as Porter grounds into second base, but not before the Diamond Hoppers strike first blood 3-0 as we head to the 5th on the US PBL Network.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
American Ages plays as the Diamond Hoppers walk out for the top of the 5th, and Carson Ferry, with 82 pitches in his pocket, does come back out for inning number 5. It's been a fun, boisterous, little chillier on the chillier side night for Classic Rock Night. It's Jurassic Adventure World Day tomorrow, I believe, and
sure
can
is.
Win movie tickets. Can announcers enter into the movie ticket contest?
Well, I thought you didn't like Jurassic Park.
Well, I know you do, though.
I hope so.
Yeah, asking for a friend. Hey,
there's actually an MJR close to my house in Westland.
Yeah, you know what? We had a conversation earlier to our loyal viewers who come in for every game. We thank you, but you might remember the conversation Jeremy and I had a few games ago about the MJR clap.
Yes.
I last night watched Top Gun.
Did you?
Just so that I can go see Top Gun Maverick this week because I've heard such great things and I want to check it out. I'm hoping we go to an MJR so I can get to do the clap again.
Okay.
It's been a couple of years. I'm a little rusty.
Report back next week now.
Yep. 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Beavers. Mercedes, Ramirez, and Ford. Ferry delivers a fastball outside of the zone, ball 1. The 1-0 high to Mercedes again, 2-0. Correction from earlier, we had Austin Shea's pitch count up. Ferry's actually working in the 50s right now.
Yeah, he's been very efficient. Has had to wait a little bit long, even though the batters, in terms of the amount of batters, haven't been a lot. The last thing was the exception with 7, but they've been a little bit longer innings, longer, deeper counts than we've seen.
Big cut and miss from the third baseman, Mercedes. Puts a strike in Ferry's pocket. 2 hits, 3 left on base. Excuse me. Yeah, 2 hits, 3 left on base for the Beavers so far today. Another swing and a miss, another fastball. Ferry beat Mercedes badly on the first one and went back to it.
I've seen Ferry hit 92, 93. It's not that much of an anomaly here today.
No, that's about his number.
Which is where he needs to sit. That's where he's going to be most effective in terms of marketability.
Wind has picked up a little bit. That American flag out in center by the 395 mark. Shading a little bit left towards left field. Pitch is outside for a ball. Full count now to Nafi Mercedes.
Not a bad pitch there by Ferry. You could see what he was trying to do there. Mercedes thought about it. We've seen a lot of hitters for both of these pitchers kind of lunge towards that hard outside fastball. Not so that time, though.
And the full count. Low, he missed him. 89 under the zone for a walk.
Margin's pretty tight there. His second walk today.
Next up, the designated hitter, number 24.
First since the first, though.
Yeah, between those 2 walks. Ferry's had 4 strikeouts. He's got 5 today. Struck out Tyler Fraley to start the game. And now here is the Boston, Massachusetts, but more Dominican Republic native, Eric Ramirez. As we mentioned, Ramirez and his former teammate, now opponent, Luis Attilis on the Utica Unicorns, buddies in Boston and in middle school and high school growing up, playing together. They broke up the buddies.
They did.
Ramirez and Attilis no longer going to be sharing the infield in the same uniform.
I'm sure it was cool for them, though, to at least share that next level.
At one game, and Ramirez had a fantastic game. He had a home run. I believe Attilis had an RBI in that game, too, so a good game for both of them. And to make it even better, they each, I remember, stumbled on an infield grounder that let the base runner get on. So they each shared in some disappointment as well. As Ramirez is ahead 2-0 on Ferry right now.
Which won't happen from either of those two guys. Pretty solid defensively.
They will be sound all year. Neither was credited with an error as that ball's low, squirts under Luker, but Mercedes holds it first. Ramirez, 14 home runs in his college seasons, 101 RBIs. Spent a few years in college. Might be a green light guy with a 3-0 count, though. And he walked him. Ferry struggles to find the zone here in the 5th. Back-to-back walks, puts 2 on and nobody out for Travius Ford, who we know what he can do at the plate. He's already got 1 3-run homer this season. And we'll have an infield mound visit between Burke, De Los Santos, Ferry, and Luker. The managers Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski will remain in the dugout, as it looks like we've got some work happening in the bullpen. As we expected, Jacob Wisinski appears to be beginning his warm-up for the Hoppers.
The guy we're looking forward to seeing, no doubt.
The arm will switch for these Beavers hitters. Ferry, the lefty, Wisinski, a righty, standing at 6'8". Going to be 2 very different looks. As Ford looks and swings on the 0-0 for strike 1.
Boy, that's 90 miles an hour, but it plays up.
Yeah.
Especially when it's on that outside corner, and you could see Ford say, my bad, I shouldn't have swung at that, but it's hard.
Ford, when I spoke to him after his debut in which he had that home run, which was the only real offense in the game, as he takes another big cut and misses. He seems to have an innate ability to identify pitches. He could identify that the 2 fastballs he saw earlier in that at-bat were high spin rate, quickly picked up the speed that they were 93, and that was on an 0-2 count that he hit a home run. Facing an 0-2 count here with 2 on and nobody out. Popped it up. Burke and Luker both slide over into foul territory right near Josh Hines, and Burke will make the grab for out number 1.
Boy, that's been the pitcher's best friend here today, the foul territory. That one might have been in at some other parks, but we saw the one earlier by Mercedes that was nearly in front of the dugout down the third baseline, which is an eternity away for most ballparks, but that goes into just, the fan experience and wanting the most closest seats that you could have all the way down the lines in the grandstands.
Yeah, and you can safely assume that any foul balls that reach the foul warning track are probably not in play at most other ballparks. As the number 9 hitter, Saywan Lawrence, steps up. He looks at a fastball at the bottom of the zone for strike 1.
It's been a continuous for Ferry, it seems like, at least in the last couple innings. Fastball, outside corner, strike 1.
The 0-1. That one's outside and bounces away from Luker off his chest. Both runners advance. So a wild pitch makes it 2nd and 3rd with 1 out.
Maybe lost a little bit of the command control here in the 5th, but we talked about it. A tight pitch count through 4, just over 50. that the changeup, which we haven't seen very often from either of these two arms.
(1-1). Lawrence swings and misses. So despite back-to-back walks, Ferry's gotten a pop out and a head in this count to Saywan Lawrence. Be a big out here before the top of the order with Tyler Fraley comes up for the Beavers. And that one's chopped foul down the third baseline. So up to 70 pitches now for Carson Ferry. The count climbing, still with work left to do this inning. Ferry works third base side of the rubber. The 1-2. Missed it outside. Count even.
Luker trying to frame that one maybe a little bit too much, though, towards the inner half of the plate.
And there you see Jacob Wisinski warming up in the bullpen. 2-2. Lawrence waits. Hits this one down the third baseline again. This one's fielded by De Los Santos. And they say foul as he was just going to step on the bag.
Boy, that was close, and it wasn't going to be pretty for De Los Santos because it was so high up in the air. Lawrence with some pretty good speed, and you have the runner sprinting from third to home, and you have the guy at second, and Ramirez, who also has some pretty good speed. Don't know where he would have ended up.
So now we'll redo the 2-2 with one out. Low in the zone, Lawrence hit right to Pup, jumps and glides for one out there. A little line out to short. And now 2 on, 2 out for the leadoff hitter, Tyler Fraley. Fraley, as we mentioned, the only lefty in this lineup today. Cody Stevenson, who's on the bench, usually a starter, is a switch hitter for these Beavers. So a lefty-lefty matchup for Ferry. Favorable to get out of this 2-base runner jam, and a big swing and miss from Fraley. But that ball squirts away, and coming in to score is Nafi Mercedes.
Probably going to go down as a pass ball there. An unfortunate one because you got him to swing and miss.
That's the second time today we've seen a runner score on a wild pitch. So Mercedes scores. Ramirez moves up to third. And Fraley looks at strike 2. Ferry ahead 0-2, trying to stop the bleeding. That one's in the dirt. Luker did a good job getting in front of that one.
That last ball through the legs does go down as a pass ball.
That one's in the dirt again. Luker able to kind of meet it there and grab it. We'll get a new one though, 2-2. Fraley from Midlothian, Texas, playing his first season in the U.S. PBL. Is now 4 for 11 this season. 4 for 12. 3 RBIs, 3 walks to his name as well. 2-2 swing and a miss, and Ferry gets out of it. The Beavers get their first runs on the board Carson Ferry gets out of it with just 1 run scored, and we'll head to the bottom of the 5th on the US PBL network.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel played on the loudspeakers here for Classic Rock Night, a fantastic song. As we've got a pitching change for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Austin Shea's day is done, and Zach Blankenship, the lefty, will take the pill. Blankenship, 24 years old, out of Fleming Island, Florida. 1 appearance this year, came in relief. 2 innings pitched, and that gave up 2 runs, both of them earned, and had a walk as well. Still looking for his first strikeout of the year.
Fastball, slider, changeup, and then that splitter / forkball kind of somewhere in the middle.
It's Burke to start. He fouls that one away down the first base line. Burke 0 for 1 with a walk to start the game today. Quickly got his numbers up this season with the big day yesterday. 2 home runs. Fouls this one again. Sounded like some O's and ahs.
Fans getting a workout here in the middle innings.
So now a 3-1 ball game after the first runner of the game for both teams scored from third on a wild pitch. It was Mercedes last inning. First run scored for the Beavers was Lawler last inning in the 4th. Now the 1-2 to Burke. Slowly to third. Mercedes is there, gloves it right in front of his face, and a nice sharp throw over to first to get Burke by a step and a half for out number 1.
We haven't seen that power translate to today. We definitely saw a lot more wind yesterday, but you kind of wondered what this Hoppers offense would bring. The coaching staff certainly encouraged what they saw yesterday.
And now another guy that was encouraging, Nick Kreitzer, 2 home runs to his name yesterday along with Burke, and he looks at strike 1.
Good news if you're a Tigers fan. Austin Meadows on a rehab just a couple days in Toledo now after suffering from some pretty bad vertigo. They didn't know when he would come back at first. He had a home run off the scoreboard on the road.
Wow.
Good looking swing. Pitching was pretty apparent last night in the MLB. A couple guys going for no-hitter, Garrett Cole had a perfect game at one point.
Kreitzer hits this one on the line and over the glove of Marcus Page. He gets it, though, on the bounce, but too late. Not in time to beat Nick Kreitzer to first. Hard hit ball to second and a base runner for the Hoppers.
Joe Musgrove trying to throw the second ever no-hitter for the Padres. You know who has the first ever no-hitter for the Padres?
I do, and I forget now.
Joe Musgrove.
Oh, really?
I believe, if I read that right. In 54 years.
You might be right, yeah. Here's Lawler. 1 for 2 today. Flew out back in the second to left. Reached on a single to right in the fourth, and then was the first run across the plate in that 3-run fourth inning. It's behind 0-1. Fastball at 91 from Blankenship. Finds the outer half for strike 2.
Good velo so far here by Zach. Playing up 91 was kind of his high in college. Bounced around a little bit. Ended up at Valdosta State to beat Division II.
Ahead 0-2, gets a waving foul from Lawler.
Yeah, Musgrove yesterday just 1 hit through 8 innings, 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Colton Wong broke up his no-hitter.
I saw it was a cool moment. They each kind of tipped their cap to each other after he got the hit, as to say, job well done. Pitch is outside in the 0-2 count, ball 1. Lawler this season settling into a starting role. Was out with an elbow injury for the first 2 weekends. Looks like he'll be in the starter spot now, but he strikes out there on the low pitch from Blankenship, his first K of the day.
Not sure what he was expecting, but it looks like he was guessing a pitch there, and Blankenship threw his best fastball of the night at 92 right by him. Looked very uncomfortable on the swing.
Now brings up De Los Santos. Walk, strikeout today. Stole a bag back in the second. Fastball at 89. Bottom of the zone. Kreitzer, the runner on first. Count even now at 1. See the fans chilling out there on the berm in right field. That berm was busy and bustling yesterday with not just people, but baseballs as well. Kreitzer and Burke hit some over there. Kreitzer, the lefty, had 2 go right there. One of them hit right into the berm. Another one might have bounced off of it and into the Clinton River. Not going to see very many balls get down there as De Los Santos swings for strike 3. Whitfield threw it into center as Kreitzer was down to second. I have that as out number 3, Jeremy. I don't think the Beavers do.
Me too, yeah.
It should have just been tossed down to first. There's a lot of confusion here. Our 2 umpires, they say that De Los Santos is out on the strikeout. Kreitzer was already at first, so De Los Santos can't even run down there. The inning's over.
It is.
So that's going to do it. A little bit of confusion there to end the 5th, but nonetheless, a strikeout to Chris De Los Santos, the second of Zach Blankenship's day, as he will look to move on. A 3-1 ball game is when we come back. Jeremy Otto takes the reins on the U.S. PBL Network.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on
on, try on.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or a dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Look, Carson Ferry is done. That's not necessarily because of his pitch count or performance here today. He looked very good despite the back-to-back walks to begin the fifth. But they want to give this man probably more like 3 innings here today. They're hoping that he will become the third starter. His name is Jacob Wisinski out of Oakland University, and that size is not deceiving. He's a load out there on the mound.
Wisinski standing at 6'8", 200 pounds, the 23-year-old semi-local kid, Grand Rapids, state of Michigan. It's kind of a long drive out there to Grand Rapids, but spent a season at Akron, 2 seasons here at local Oakland University in Auburn Hills. He's got a 4-seam, a slider, and a changeup. He said it's not quite a circle change, but it's a similar grip, kind of a 3-finger grip on that changeup.
2-3-4, Colette Page Sullivan as Colette takes the ball down low.
Well, if these Beavers hitters thought they were getting any relief from a new guy on the mound, think again. That first fastball clocks in at 92, second one at 91.
For Oakland University this year, 5.86 ERA. Most of them starts, just 1 appearance out of the pen. Strikeout rate of 7, walk rate of 4. 91 to the outside corner for strike 2. Now the 1-2. Oh my goodness. Fastball again, throwing it in that same spot, maybe an inch or two further to the right, and called a ball.
Close.
Come out firing here in the 6th inning. Now the 2-2. Oh, got him golfing at the slider on the outside corner.
It's pretty good at bat for your professional debut. Fastball's clocking in fresh out of the bullpen at 92, and then a filthy slider for strike 3 to get him absolutely golfing for it.
Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for Bell's. For beer, I beg your pardon, and Bell's. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by the members of the American Homebrewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. 92-mile-an-hour fastball fouled back. '58 innings at Oakland. Just 9 in 2021 and 3 2/3 at Akron in his sophomore campaign. Porter gliding, so is Bayard, who makes the catch for the second out. Another slider at 79. Has since mixed that in a little bit more than the fastball early on.
Changeup is usually a pitch that takes a little bit of time to develop for some of these college and new young pro kids. And we don't see a whole lot when they're out there in the game. Like we talked about, whatever you have, the stuff you have at the start of the game. Don't try to work on anything while you're in there as far as mechanical and development stuff. If you want to work on painting the zone, getting hitters to chase more, you want to work on the velocity, yeah, do that. But mechanical stuff and trying to change your arsenal and maybe change your grip or your stance, don't do that. That's all what those practice days are for.
Certainly easy to carry some of that into the games as well because they work on a lot of things with these guys. They watch a lot of video through the delivery value system as well, looking to gain the most potential in terms of your velocity and lower your injury risk as far as possible. The 2-1, fastball at 90, in for strike 2. Just that easy gas. You can see the high leg kick as well by Wisinski.
Well, that's what those tall guys get to do with those long arms and that high frame. You don't need to throw very hard. That ball comes from so far back that a lot of velocity flies off of that.
Change up away, full count on Sullivan now. Middle of the infield spread out, outfield back, especially Bayard in left. The 3-2 on the ground to Pup. Ooh, lunging his way forward, firing a dart over to first base, and the fans love it. 1, 2, 3 breeze of an inning for Wisinski in his pro debut here on the USPBL Network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
A really good outing. A really good inning, I should say, by Wisinski. It's definitely not over. We'll see 2, probably 3 innings here today. Strikeout, line-out, ground-out, and a good inning as well by Blankenship. I was impressed with the stuff in the 5th inning. We saw him a little bit in spring training and only 1 appearance so far in the regular season, but probably the best stuff we've seen on a fastball that rose up to 91 and a good slider as well.
Yeah, you know, we talked to a lot of pitchers, and we talked to Mitch Aker about a lot of pitchers in this league, and the number we always hear is 90-91, you know. Okay, what's his fastball at? Well, he wants it to be at 90-91. Well, it is at 90-91. You know, back and forth we hear a bunch, and Blankenship was kind of one of those guys who you don't really expect to come out and throw a 92 heater first time out of the pen, and he's kept it up there in that first inning that he had around 89, 92. And that's a surprise a little bit. We've only seen him once, so there's a lot to be surprised by. You know, he can have a lot in his bag that we haven't seen yet.
The 0-1, fastball at 91. You just see the tail on that one.
Yeah.
Had slider-like movement on it. Worked to his disadvantage that time. Hard on lefties for sure. Here's the 1-1. See it flub off the handle of the bat that time. Bayard still looking for his first professional hit. 0 for 17 thus far. No walks and 9 Ks. Michael Luker on deck, then Walker Paz, the scheduled hitters. The 1-2. Fastball away. Lopez, Rios, Snyder, and Hughes available off the bench should they need someone. Tough start for Juan Lopez Rios to the season thus far as well. He was 0 for 5 yesterday, but that's a bat you expect to pick up at some point. Fastball away, full count on Bayard now. Blankenship working his 2nd inning, taking over for Shea in the 5th. He went 4 complete, walking 5 and striking out 1. Now the 3-2. Fastball took a bit off, and Bayard took it outside. His first walk of the year.
Always good to get a leadoff man on with nobody out. You never know what that can start, what that can be the catalyst for. It's like links in a chain. You just want to keep going down to the next link and get on base any way you can.
3-1 Hoppers here in this one. Scored 3 in the fourth. Single, walk, hit by pitch. It doesn't feel like 3-1, does it?
No. It feels like 1-0.
0-0, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We did have we did have the Beavers score a run in an inning without getting a hit, and our first 2 runners scored on a wild pitch from third.
One and one on Luker. Fastball at 90 straight and in there for strike 2. Now the 1-2.
I'm surprised Blankenship trying to keep this one low. You can often kind of get one back. You know, there's often no take-backsies in life, but you can, as a pitcher, you can kind of get one back when you walk the leadoff guy with nobody out. If you can get a ground ball into a double play the next batter.
Luker looks at strike 3, not happy with that call as he has a decent idea. The strike zone tonight obviously being the catcher.
Maybe that's why he didn't agree with it. He said, hey, we don't get that one.
Third K tonight for Blankenship.
Pretty good way to come out of the bullpen. 3 strikeouts in your first 6 batters. We've seen a lot of really good relievers this year. Dearman came out and threw out 7 strikeouts in his first relief appearance. We saw Ledbetter strike out the last 7 last night. Here's Blankenship with 3 already.
Quickly 0-1 on Walker Paz. Reached twice tonight. A walk in the third, stranded at third, and then a hit by pitch in the fourth. Came around to score. 0-1 to Walker off the plate outside. Dropped there by Whitfield. Top of the order waiting on deck. Paz, he's just got on in his first 3 weeks of pro ball. Single, RBI, walk here today. The 1-1. Off the glove again as Bayard advances to second. So both of these catchers here today having a little bit of trouble holding on to pitches, which has definitely cost their fellow pitchers some base runners.
Yeah, and both of these guys are not who we saw be the day one starters. Omar Ortiz was the day one starter for the Beavers, and it was Whit Hughes for the Hoppers. It sounds like Whitfield might be the main guy moving forward, and the only way to work on that is to get reps, you know. Catch bullpen, catch in practice, and there's reps out there on the field too.
Sixth inning brought to you by Jimmy John's. We thank Jimmy John's for their partnership with the USPBL. Shallow wind blowing to left center field. Blankenship checks the runner, the 2-2. Slider again off the glove. Bayard advances to third base, and now 3-2.
Well, this game and this inning just changed drastically with this one at bat. A full count at the bottom of the order, and 2 wild pitches gets Bayard easily over to third. That last one, a slider, had decent amount of spin on it. That's a tough one to catch sometimes, especially when it's just falling away and away from you as the catcher.
All the infielders come in. with runs already at a premium for the Beavers. And another walk. It's the 7th of the game.
That's a tough break for Blankenship. 2 balls on those wild pitches that you would like Eric Whitfield to probably grab, especially that last one that moved Bayard up to third.
Here's Alex Pup, not a guy you want at the plate in a situation like this. Hopper is really hoping they can bust this game open.
They need it. They need it bad. Get off the goose egg in the win column.
First pitch, big rip by Pup, fouled down the third baseline. Approaching just over an hour surpassed in this game, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We started at 7:03.
We were near that time. What's the word? I can't think of it now. Time limit, yes. Yesterday, a little bit of a brain fart there.
0-1, 90 in on the legs, and reading that right away is Paz as he advances to second. So Blankenship has had a little bit more trouble finding his spots here in the 6th. He was nearly pinpoint in the 5th, striking out the last 2.
Yeah. Seems like we're in no trouble of a time limit game today. Been a pitcher's duel.
Infielders still all in. Sullivan, Page, Collette, and Mercedes right to left, and he did go for strike number 2. Jeremy out alongside Brendan Shabat to bring you the call on the USPBL Network, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're on Facebook, send us a like. YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button, get notifications when we're live automatically. Don't miss a minute. Outfielders shallow as well, except Lawrence had left. Here's the 1-2. In on the hands, didn't catch it. It's not complete until he chucks it. And there is not out number 2. Sullivan dropped the baseball, and the pond is full of ducks with just 1 out here in the 6th.
Just a tough break for Whitfield this inning. That's a really tough throw. Catchers usually aren't going to have to throw the ball that far. Most dropped third strikes are relatively close to the plate, and the catcher can even step towards the first base bag before he throws it. And
first pitch to Porter, slammed into left field, a base hit. 1 run is around to score easily. The second going to be tested by Lawrence. It's a loopy throw, not in time. To the backstop it flies, and they will hold Pup at third base. Bayard and Paz come home to score, and it is now 5-1 Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
Well, we talked about that last at-bat to Walker Paz being a very important one because it got Bayard over to third and brought up the top of the order if Paz could get on, and he did with a walk, and that's completely shifted this game. Just those 2 wild pitches in that one at-bat that moved the base runners up, kept the inning alive instead of 2 outs with Pup coming on and only Bayard at first or second. Now we've got an inning open.
The infielders will remain in here. First pitch, swing and a miss to Joe Burke. 6th batter to the plate in this inning, trying to surpass the 7 they had in a 4-run 4th, or 3-run 4th. The 0-1. Fastball high. You know, you just wonder because Blankenship had such good stuff in the 5th. If some of the drop balls we've seen has affected a bit of his confidence here in the 6th.
Yeah, it can. It certainly can when you
1-1, crowded him inside. Ooh, Burke does not like the strike call on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
When you want to get some of those calls and you want those pitches to be strikes. And also it kind of feels like a single, but you turn around and you're facing the same batter when you throw a wild pitch and those runners get to move up. It just adds more pressure to you on the mound.
Slider low. 2-2 on Joe Burke now. Walk, ground out for Joe, following his 2 home run performance last night.
Be good for his confidence to get a big hit here.
2-2. Did it hit him? No, it's off the glove, and Whitfield can't find it. Speeding around third base and scoring the 2nd run is Blake Porter.
Great hustle and awareness by Porter. Tough for Whitfield. Immediately lost where the ball was. He knew he didn't have it, but couldn't find it either, and it squirted hard to the backstop and kind of died on the backstop. Whitfield had to chase it, and how about Porter from second? The awareness, paying attention, the aggressiveness as well, and that's a big run.
7-1 Diamond Hoppers. Of course, they don't really want to hear, oh, this game is in hand or anything, because they've had some wild ones.
Up 4-0 early yesterday.
Fly ball, center field, forward spinning around. Slight wind out there. It's going to stay in the park at the 395 sign just in front of the warning track.
Next up, the designated hitter number
Boy,
17.
Burke caught a hold of that one. He sure would have liked for that wind to kick up just a little bit more. It was more of a friend to him yesterday than today. But, man, it doesn't, after all that, that's still only out number 2.
I put loud I put P8, but that's inaccurate. F8, fly out.
Yes.
First pitch to Kreitzer, zinged in at 90, in for strike 1. Kreitzer, the 7th batter to the plate here in the 6th. Now the 0-1. 89, but maybe off the plate outside there. Defender straight up with nobody on and 2 outs here. Now the 1-1. Lunging at that one, the fastball at 88. Just whittles it off. Now the 1-2. Carved him up with the slider. Oh. Everybody took an extra look at that one. You can see Kreitzer, the home plate umpire as well.
Yep. Be really good for Blankenship and his confidence to at least end this inning with a strikeout to a good hitter like Kreitzer.
Here's pitch number 48 of the inning. Tipped into the glove for strike 3. Another productive inning. Uncharacteristically for a normal offensive output, but 2 walks, a 2 RBI single, and error by Whitfield allows them to take a 7-1 lead.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
There's a look at Jacob Wisinski. Really snappy 6th inning. Again, we've said this kind of a lot. Carson Ferry having to sit around for a good amount of times in some of his innings. The same is true for Wisinski after he relieved Ferry in the 6th, but got a 1-2-3 strikeout, line out, ground out, fastball up to 92.
Here Wisinski looked like Blankenship, like we talked about. Thought this pitching duel was going to continue. Blankenship looked really good in his first inning out of the pen, and so did Wisinski. He came in throwing 92 live. Only 12 pitches in that 6th. Pretty good job for the kid.
Oh and 1 quickly on Whitfield. 6-4-3 double play and a pop out.
No breaks for Whitfield. And a lot of those dropped and passed balls in that wild inning. Last half inning, I should say, and now immediately leading off here in the 7th.
Now the 0-1. Fastball off the plate outside. Pretty sky kind of developing over the left field foul pole. Mix of blue, maybe a little bit of green, turquoise, some red.
It's got a nice gradient kind of pattern to it, yeah.
Cloud cover, as you see there, has kind of moved over the ballpark as the night has moved on. Slider in at 77 for strike 2. We'd love to have you out for tomorrow as well. A 1:05 start. We'll be on the air at 12:45 in the USPBL network. It's going to heat up a little bit in the coming days. Not necessarily tomorrow, but Monday. Popped it up. Pup is under it for out number 1. That's 4 up and 4 down for Wisinski. And going back to Ferry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outs in a row for this Unicorns, or for this Hoppers pitching staff.
Yeah, even if the Hoppers offense hadn't been able to score as much as it has, this pitching staff has done a great job limiting the runs of the Beavers, which is not something they've done all season. But we do know that, this is one of the better, if not the best, staff of pitchers in the USPBL right now. And they already lost their best guy, and they still look like they might be one of the strongest.
And for Brugge, still, I don't think has shown his true potential this year. Drummond looked really good last night in his 1 inning of work. He's available in an emergency here tonight. DeSanti, of course, some talent at the closer's spot. Feels like a while since we've seen him.
Yeah, we might get to see Michael DeSanti today, depending on how many pitches Wisinski throws. Might be a 9th inning guy. I know Mike is someone they want to get in.
0-2 tipped off the glove. Mercedes with a walk back in the 5th inning. Now the 0-2. Curveball away. Take a peek at the USPBL standings brought to you by Scott's here today. This inning also brought to you by Scott's. The Unicorns be in action again tomorrow. They have started 3-0. Beavers looking for their 3rd win as well. Ooh, carving. Slider. Mercedes thought he got a piece of it, but not so, says your home plate umpire. That's strikeout number 2 in the books of Wisinski. 5 up and 5 down to start his pro career. And as you see, the Diamond Hoppers still looking for their 1st win as well.
In prime position to get it here. It's been a great pitching day. That's usually what you need to pick up a win.
Aaron Rao, Roddy, Maya all chiming in on the YouTube channel. Trish as well. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight on the USPBL Network. First pitch slider in for strike 1 at 80 miles an hour there. Popped him up foul. Boy, Wisinski just pounding the zone. Stuff looks easy. Coming out of that 6'8" frame.
Yeah, he looks calm and ready and not afraid of the stage. And it was funny, I was talking to Ryan Kotke, and he was talking about Wisinski, and finish after this pitch.
0-1, slider kind of tailed that one away.
He said he went to him, asked, hey, how are you doing? You're being a pro, you're with this team. Are you taking it all in? Are you ready? And Wisinski just went, yeah. And Ryan's like, all right, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. So kind of a calm kid, not too afraid of the stage.
High ball 1-2, Grand Rapids Community College for a couple of years, Akron for a year, and then Oakland University in the Horizon League in the last 2 years. Pretty much a starter at OU. Now the 2-2 swing and a miss. 3 Ks and back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Wisinski. Him and Ferry look sparkling here tonight on the USPBL Network. Well, time for your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch here today on the USPBL Network. And here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back for its fruit. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 7th inning stretch today, brought to you by Michigan Orthopedic Specialist. Diamond Hoppers trying to hold on to this 7-1 lead here today on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Zach Devin takes over here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Told you he was on loan to the team he's facing here today, the Hoppers. He made a spot start for them. Coming in relief of Zach Blankenship, who relieved Austin Shea earlier. 6 foot, 190 pounds, a Livonia native. There's a few Livonia natives on this USPBL roster, and there's been quite a few over the last few years as well. He went to Clarenceville, one of the smaller schools in town. 2-seam and a 4-seam, a changeup, a slider, and a curveball for Zach. He'll face 5, 6, 7 in the order for the Hoppers. You're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Time limit starting to loom, 2.5 hours. We should still be able to play past around 35, the bottom of the hour here in Eastern time. Here's the first pitch to Lawler. Fastball high and away at 85. Upper 80s. That's kind of where Devin sits. That curveball is recognizable compared to the slider. It's more of a 12-6 break. The 1-0. High and away. Well, Zach Blankenship, we talked about it. He had a really good 5th inning. Just allowed a single to Nick Kreitzer. Otherwise, a ground out, a strikeout, and a strikeout. You just wonder, without some of the errors in that 6 or drop balls, if that would have turned out different for him. I think at least a little bit different. 8 up Sullivan at first, still has a shot, but not in time as Devin is late covering the bag. That should go in the books as a base hit for Lawler, hard off his bag. De Los Santos, 0 for 2 today, did have a walk and a stolen base back in the 2nd. Devin spent some time in the Pecos League. 12 games in 2021, 52 innings, 27 walks to 58 strikeouts. Just an outing last year. It was a start, kind of at the end of the year. Did not pitch in the playoffs. He was pitching for the Mammoths at that point. First slide step from Devin is in for strike 1. It's the slider. Lawler on first base. He reaches with a single. Plenty of base runners for the Hoppers in the last 2 innings. The 0-1. Hit him. 86 in on the belly. And now first and second. The opposite of what this Beavers team wanted to do. Hopper's able to open up on an advantage. They had a nice advantage yesterday. Thought the Mammoths were dead red and out of that game. James Crick starting to warm now. At this point, just to get him some work, not really a tight game where he normally comes in. First pitch to Bayard, fastball low. Bayard reaching first base for the first time this year that hasn't been a fielder's choice. Has scored a run and driven in an RBI, but notched a walk in the sixth, pop out in the fourth, and a strikeout back in the second. Now the 1-0. Fastball in there for strike one. Pays extra attention to Laudler at second. Slider high. 2-1 on Bayard now. Fought it off inside. Bayard looked it all the way into the glove. 3-1 on Andrew. Instead of the place batter here today. Infield kind of semi-in at third base for Mercedes, and Devin will step off.
Tough start to this inning for Zach Devin. Has to recuperate.
3-1, he went around.
Bayard, as we mentioned, has struggled with some strikeouts this year, early in this season. Good to see him work this count full.
See what the runners do. They're in tight. Fly ball, right field, hugging the foul pole. It's going to hook foul into the Beavers bullpen. One of the best swings we've seen from Bayard thus far.
Yeah, hard hit. Just a little out in front, saw a pitch he liked and jumped on it a little eagerly. Did he break his bat?
Did he really?
Didn't sound or look like it. It appears so.
Huh. So he goes over and gets more of a tan bat here.
I like the black ones. Black bats look nice. Tan is obviously a classic baseball color, though. It's got that nice maroon kind of shaft to it.
3-2 with runners on first and second. Still no outs in the seventh inning. Devin, the third pitcher used for the Beavers. Important pitch here with the long foul. Popped him up foul as well. All the heads turning in unison. Below us, we're perched right even with home plate. Pretty low sit for a baseball press box, which helps. And
great seats they are, yeah.
Certain ways to call pitches, certainly, and just get a good look at everything. I feel like baseball stadiums these days, especially in the major leagues, you can be way up there.
Yeah. Tigers were playing at Yankee Stadium today. That's a ballpark that's built upwards just like the rest of that city.
Sure is. Dan Dickerson, the voice of the Tigers on the radio, was talking about, hey, there's virtually no wind here based off how high it was built up.
It's made to be a home run ballpark. No wind and short.
Foul down the first base line.
Well, an 8-pitch at bat so far for Bayard. Clearly focusing on staying alive. And he's done well.
Try 3-2 one more time. Popped him up. Whitfield discarding the mask. Sinks into the glove of Mercedes, and that will be out number 1 here in the 7th.
Next up for the Hoppers, the catcher number 7, Michael Luker.
At least, actually looks like Omar Vasquez, or Omar Ortiz, who has taken over behind the plate. So he's a defensive substitution here for Whitfield.
Ortiz, a really quality defensive catcher. He was getting the ball out fast and early in practice today before the game. Wow.
Strike 1 to Luker, 69-mile-an-hour looping curveball there.
Don't see too many curveballs go that far above the batter's head and still land in the zone like that. It's usually a hanger that a hitter can connect on.
0-1 hit the elbow or the arm. Second hit batter of the inning, and that will load the bases with just 1 out.
I believe third time tonight the Hoppers have had the bases loaded. And they've converted it also on the other 2 times.
Walker Paz, he's reached base every time, but hasn't had a hit. Walk, hit by pitch. 2 runs scored in the 4th and the 6th. 7 runs off 6 hits and no errors for the Hoppers. 1 run off 2 hits and 1 error for the Beavers. First pitch fastball is high. 3 runs in the 4th and 4 more in the 6th. The 0-1 again with the infielders in. Fastball that kind of swung around the plate but found the zone for strike 1. Or strike 2, I beg your pardon.
Right on the black on the inside. Pretty close.
The 0-2. Popped him up foul.
Devin starting to hit his spots a little bit more. It's one thing to always note where the catcher sets up when a pitcher is either on or when they're struggling, and see if they're missing those spots. With an out here now ahead 1-2. Devin's gotten a little bit better at hitting that glove of Ortiz where he sets up pre-pitch.
Chiseled right to third base. Mercedes feeds to second, tags on the bag, and Page able to record out number 3 here in the 7th inning. The Hoppers threaten, don't score. They still have a 7-1 lead on the USPBL network as we head to the 8th.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Kids, if
Michael DeSanti taking over on the mound here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
Well, it looks like Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski don't want to push the rookie in his first appearance, Wisinski, too hard. Wisinski, like we talked about, is probably going to be a starter. He was mainly a starter in college. He has starter stuff, so they don't want to push him too far.
Ford, Lawrence, and Fraley, your 3 due up here in the 8th. That's 8-9-1 for the Beavers. DeSanti was scheduled to be the second man out of the bullpen after Wisinski. Just want to get him some work here today. DeSanti so far this year, 2 appearances, 3 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 walks to 5 strikeouts thus far.
And we'll see whether DeSanti goes 2 innings if this game makes it that far. That was something, I was interested, like we talked about last night, to see the development of the time limit on these games, the 2.5-hour limit, which we're coming up on here. Yesterday, Alex Leja threw 50 pitches in that 5-run inning for the Mammoths. And part of the reason he stayed out there, I was talking with Ryan Kotke today, he said, well, we still wanted to bet being the home team and down by 7 runs at that point, want to give ourselves a shot. We didn't want to take the time it would take to have a pitching change.
Fly ball left field. That's going to hook foul. Ford, we've already seen him hit a monster shot, 3-run home run on Memorial Day. Today, a single and a pop-out.
Still can't believe we haven't seen a stolen base yet.
It'll come. Curveball low. One in there for strike 2. Righty and righty. The 1-2. Golf to the left field. The fastball at 91. It's going to reach all the way towards the warning track here. Ford around first base, and he's gimpy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Favoring his left side. Is it that hammy? It looked more like the foot at first.
It almost looks like the front, like the hamstring. Yeah, maybe the quad. Doesn't look good.
And a lot of visible pain there. And as they look at him, we hope that he's okay, but it might take a few minutes to figure out how to get him off the field, number one. You see the concern about the Hoppers middle infielders and Paz and Pup just looking on, but our thoughts are with Travius Ford, who hit a ball well to the gap in left center field. We'll check on him when we get back in the USPBL network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Well, you see there, Travius Ford being helped off the field by his teammates. What you did not see is we were in break. Paz and Pup helped him right around the first base bag, but you can see everybody just kind of looking with concern at Travius Ford. Immediately gimpy in between first and second base there.
Yeah, you never want to see a player go down like that, especially in a no-contact situation. I wasn't paying attention to Ford rounding first. And by the time he was halfway to first and second, he had already started that limp and was at least able to make it to second, which was good, but kind of looked like near that left hip, quad, hamstring maybe.
0-2, fastball at 92 there. DeSanti has mixed in one changeup today as well. That was to Ford. The 0-2 swing and a miss, dazzling curveball. You go from 90-92 on the fastball to a looping 76. See you later.
Next up for the Beavers, the right fielder number 9, Tyler Fraley.
First pitch fastball inside to Fraley. Big swing and a miss. Fastball at 91. Eighth inning tonight brought to you by Valpak. We thank Valpak for their sponsorship of the USPBL.
Seen some good stuff from DeSanti so far. Fastball, lower 90s, curveball with some break. There it is again.
That in the dirt and having to hightail his way back to second base.
As you can see on your screen there, that's number 13. The unfortunate thing about that is we don't have a number 13 for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers anywhere. I believe it's Cody Stevenson.
This one popped up in shallow right field here. Paz and Burke. It's Burke and then Paz and Burke and Paz and and Paz makes the catch for the second out here in the eighth inning. Apparently, that is Jesse Gallandino, who we had no idea was even on the roster today, unfortunately. Actually, maybe that's Galindo out there. I got a text that said Gallandino, but could be just a typo there. So in that case, he's a pitcher.
I'm surprised they throw a pitcher out there. I don't know why they wouldn't throw Stevenson unless they're planning to have Stevenson actually pinch hit and replace someone in this lineup defensively. They've already seen Ortiz be a defensive substitution.
Now the 1-0, high. Marcus Page, 0 for 3 today. Strikeout, pop out, line out. On deck with 2 outs. Now the 2-0. 91, popped him foul. We've seen a lot of 90, 91, 92. We've seen Ferry reach up to 93 here today. Ready and ready. Here's the 2-1. Fastball buzzed his tower there. 3-1 on Cameron Collette. Was off to a 7 for 11 start coming into the game today. A walk back in the first. A pair of strikeouts in his last 2 at-bats. A slight breeze has picked up. There's the Hoppers bullpen. Not a lot of action down there.
Drummond looks like he might be up to something in there.
Swung through the 92-mile-an-hour fastball up high.
A lot of hitters like that elevated fastball. It's a pitch that's easier to drive out into the outfield and especially the direction you want as well. Collette tried to jump on it.
Popped him up into right field. Lawler is under it for the third out here in the 8th inning. DeSanti works a scoreless 8th after the leadoff double by Travius Ford. Our thoughts certainly with him as he went out via injury and is helped off the field to begin this 8th.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Classic Rock Night here at the ballpark. Another one of those live bands. We'll have several of them. A lot of them on Saturdays throughout the summer. Always like to give you live looks on the USPBL network as well. James Crick, Beavers closer, just coming in to get some work in the 8th inning. Alex Pup, Blake Porter, Joe Burke to face him. Austin Shea started. Blankenship relieved, and then Devin followed, and Crick, the fourth arm used today.
Crick, like we talked about, he's another explosive, exciting closer kind of role in the USPBL. Heard talks of him being looked at by the Twins, the feeder organization for the USPBL.
Yeah, what was our number that we calculated? How many? Don't exactly remember. It was a lot,
I believe it was over half, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Half of the 46 now.
You see why he's being looked at. Fastball, first pitch, 93 by him. 2 innings, 4 hits, no walks, and 2 Ks. And now his third appearance in the USPBL. Good career at Hillsdale. Fly ball to right, just driving that fastball and punching it in the arms of Fraley.
Next up, the center fielder, number 4, Blake Porter.
So Cody Stevenson is now in for Ford in center field. Not exactly sure why we saw the pitcher Galindo run, but
yeah, I don't know what the theory was there.
Unless Stevenson wasn't ready for some reason, but the pitcher wouldn't be ready compared to
Stevenson, who's the at that point only guy left off the bench. Ortiz had already been subbed in.
Kirk with a fastball, a slider, and a circle change. The 0-1, change up in for strike 2. He's been able to rise his velo in the last couple of years. Every year, just a couple ticks up as he went through college. Did play in 2022 as he dusts off Porter. 2 up and 2 down here in the 8th fairly easily. That's what we've seen from some of these harder throwing relievers here today. They've had some really clean innings. Beavers haven't had a 1-2-3 frame today. The lowest amount was 4 batters. That was all the way back in the first inning, and they still walked 2. The double play, the beneficiary of that quickish inning. .304 ERA at Hillsdale this year, 13 appearances out of the bullpen as the slider curves on the inside there. Overall in his career, 5 seasons, 7.28 ERA. He's always had a high K per 9, but the walk per 9 has also been high at 6 in his last season.
Yeah, with some of these younger guys who are still developing their arsenal and developing the growth and velocity, that can happen. The walk rate, high or low, tends to match the strikeout rate.
Now the 1-1 to Burke. Chopped high to Mercedes. Good bounce. And a 1-2-3 breeze of an inning for James Crick here in the 8th. Flyout, strikeout, groundouts. Last chance for the Beavers when we get back in the USPBL network.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
Luke Drummond takes over on the hill here in the 9th inning, trying to close it out for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Good inning by their closer, DeSanti, in the 8th. Gave up the leadoff double to Travius Ford, then got the next 3, strikeout, pop-out, flyout. Drummond pitching for the 2nd day in a row here today. Had a clean inning yesterday and threw one of his best fastballs in the USPBL at 91. And that's something that Ryan Kotke noticed throughout spring training and the tryout, that kind of every outing he went out there, fastball would tick up a few points on the velo meter.
Yeah, Drummond's been working hard since spring training to keep his spot and solidify it. A guy who can be a closer or a bridge guy. He's more emergency tonight. We expected DeSanti to finish it. We also didn't quite expect to make it to 9 innings.
Fastball low to Marcus Page. Drummond, 4-seam, 2-seam, curveball, split change. Had a nice winner in the Cal Winter League. 0-1 low, which a lot of USPBL coaches also instruct in. Josh Hines, the Beavers assistant manager, Von Joshua usually does, but because of his surgeries last year and through the offseason, recovering, did not manage there. Paul Nochi did. 9 games, which included 7 starts, a 1.40 ERA for Drummond in the Cal Winter League. Varying levels of talent there. 2-1 fouled off. It's a lot of guys looking to continue their career, get some reps, get better. But the USPBL has scooped up quite a few of those in the last few years. Now the 2-2 to Page. Fastball high and away at 87. Stevenson chops it on the ground to Paz, feeds to first. 1 up and 1 down here in the 9th. So I'm not sure how Stevenson actually batted in the spot for Marcus Page, because he took over in the end in center field for Ford, so that's interesting.
Ford was in the 8 hole,
yeah.
Page in the 3.
Sullivan rips one foul.
Sullivan was my pregame prediction today, trying to follow up my good fortune yesterday with some of the home run predictions. He was my prediction today to get a bomb. Hard hit there, not quite home run distance.
0-2 couldn't hold up, or did he? He did not. Went around on the slider on the outer edges for strike 3.
I thought Sullivan might have held there, but more often than not, we've learned the umpires that make those calls are usually correct.
Ninth inning brought to you by UWM here today. We thank UWM for their partnership here at the USPBL. First pitch to Ortiz. Off the plate outside the fastball. He took over defensively for Whitfield a couple innings ago behind the plate. Whitfield today 0 for 3. 6-4-3 pop out and a pop out. 1-1 on the ground again to Paz. Feeds to first. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Drummond in the 9th. That's 4 1-2-3 innings in a row as well for this Hoppers pitching staff. After they grabbed that 5-1 lead, they extended it a couple more runs, and you knew that they just needed to finish out their first win of the year, I should say, and they did just that.
A really good overall game for the Hoppers. Their pitching staff battled through and against a good lineup from the Beavers at that, and they looked fantastic. We got to see Wisinski. Verbrugge looked good today. Drummond, DeSanti as well. Good overall day on the bump for the Diamond Hoppers. Excuse me, Ferry, not Verbrugge.
Back with our postgame after this on the USPBL Network.
Diamond Hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline, warming up the benches. Need a lesson, I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a Diamond Hopper fan, point 'em out, ayy. Fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out, ayy. Every time we score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing, let's rock. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, Diamond Hoppers, we the Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Diamond Hoppers.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
We're for people. The pioneers. The underdogs. The players. And the slow and steadies. We're for people. For who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank. And some say our business is all about money. But that's an old idea. Because look past the money and you'll see real human lives. We see it because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough on your budget. Since interest rates compound daily, the amount you owe gets bigger and bigger each day the balance goes unpaid. A Green Path debt management program helps you regain control of your finances by lowering credit card interest rates, reducing your monthly payments, stopping late fees, improving overall financial health, paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less. Our caring certified counselors work with you to understand your financial picture and support you on the steps to get control of high-interest debt and achieve financial health. Call 844-572-5921 and get control of high-interest credit card debt today.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Down here behind first base as the kids run the bases with our Jimmy John's player of the game, Jake Wisinski, the newcomer. Jake, you from Grand Rapids Community College, Akron, and Oakland, some of the smaller towns locally. Have you ever played in front of a crowd this big before?
No, I have not. It was definitely a unique experience for me.
And now, I got to say, I'm 6'4". I'm not looking up at too many people. You're 6'8" on the roster list, the new tallest guy in the league. Seems like that helps you with the velocity a little bit. You came in today in the 5th inning, we're throwing 92, 93. How'd you feel today?
I felt really good. Usually I'm a starter, so I have a little more time to prepare and get ready, but I didn't have an issue with that. Coming out of the bullpen, just got ready quick, and I was able to locate and throw fastballs.
And now it sounds like you're going to be primarily a starter moving forward with the Diamond Hoppers losing Pierce Banks and kind of needing a starter role to go along with Carson Ferry and Andrew Verbrugge. Is that true?
Yeah, they just wanted me out of the bullpen today just to kind of get the experience and get the nerves out, which didn't really come, but I'm excited to be part of the starter rotation.
2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. I mean, you were dealing out there today. What's your approach when you come out in relief or as a start, just your approach to batters?
I try to get ahead early and then try to expand the zone, make the hitters kind of chase, and just try not to walk anybody.
All right, well, that's Jake Wisinski, our player of the game. We'll be back tomorrow for a 105 Sunday game here on the USPBL Network. For Jeremy Otto, I'm Brendan Shabath. We'll see you tomorrow.